Y'all grab your fishing poles and let's go. I'm running late getting to the water today, and we got some catfish to catch, so let's get after them right now. I'm gonna put y'all right here while we get this bait cut up, and we're gonna see what we can catch today, man. We're gonna try to get us some big blues, and if we get real lucky, we might get us flathead today. You never can tell. Probably not with the technique we're gonna be doing, but you never know. Opportunity is always there anytime you got a bait in the water. So that right there is a gizzard shad. And it's probably, I'd say, in that 8-inch range, give or take. We're going to take a head and a chunk, and we're going to drag today, folks. I've been trying to suspend some baits on videos that you haven't seen, and you haven't seen them because I've stunk it up on those trips. My last 3 trips out, I've tried to kind of force my will on these fish and do what I like to do, which is suspend baits. Y'all regular viewers know how much I like that. Well, it just ain't panned out. So today we're going to get back to doing what has been working and working well, and that's dragging. So let me get this other bait on here, and I'll show you the rig and all that. I forgot to do that as I was flapping my gums. So this gizzard shad, we've took a head and we've took a chunk. This here's the chunk. I'm gonna run the hook through, just through the back there, right in the middle of it. That's a 10-aught size circle hook. We've got an 80-pound leader, monofilament leader. A few inches above the hook, we've got a float and a rattle. That's a 3-inch peg float, just a little styrofoam float there, and rattle. That goes up to an inline dragging sinker that I've been playing around with this year, up to 40-pound main line, and that's on my signature series kayak catfishing rod from Catfish Sumo, golly whopper rod. So I'm gonna let out some line on that. We'll put that in the rod holder. I've got the kayak moving a half a mile an hour right now. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get us going the way we need to go down this ledge. I'll show you here on my graph how we're going to approach this area. When you look around here, when I do like a panoramic view, you can see this is just wide open water here. This is a fairly wide section of the river. However, what we're going to be fishing is very specific today. And I'll show you, hopefully, the glare and the pollen. Pollen's all over everything right now. But the way the river runs here, you've got some feeder creeks that come in. Comes out to a shallower flat. Right now, we're 23 feet deep. That flat runs out here a good ways and then drops off into the old original Tennessee River channel, which is 50+ feet deep out there. So what I want to do, I want to work this flat today, but I want to work the top edge. I want to get right here on it, right before it goes off into the deeper water. And we're going to take a big long stretch of it today and work all the way down river. Now, we're going down river because the wind is blowing upriver and it is offsetting the current. The current, they're moving a little bit of water up at the dam, but we're a long ways from the dam and they're moving such a small amount of water, the flow through here would be barely noticeable in normal conditions. But with the wind, and it's kicking up 10 to 15 mile an hour when it gusts, it's offsetting the current. So we're gonna have to go downriver, go into the wind to be able to control our speed and keep ourselves going the way we need to go today. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull these baits. I've got a cooler full of shad. We got plenty of bait. So we'll do a head and a body section, 2 rods. I do have a couple other rods here with me. If we come across like a pile of fish, like as we go down through here, and here's a fish right there under us too. As we go down through here, there's gonna be some more feeder creeks that dump in here. And as we come across, you'll see on the graph where we drop down into the old creek channels that were here before they flooded this and made a reservoir. Sometimes you will find fish that are staged up around them creeks and whatnot. If we come across, if we're going down through there and we come across a pile of fish, I'm not opposed to hitting a spot lock and dropping these suspend rods down on them and set there on them. I'm fine with that because that's how I want to fish anyway. I've been trying to do it, y'all, the last 3 trips, but it's been just a small fish here, a small fish there. Like, it's just not been a good bite. It just hasn't been working. Meanwhile, when I've been coming out and dragging baits, it's been very productive. We're getting more fish, we're getting bigger fish, and so that's what we're going to get back to today. I'm tired of trying to force my will on fish when they don't want it. We're going to try to just do what they've been wanting to do. So we're going to work it here today. I'm going to bring y'all with me here for the ride. We're going to leave the camera rolling, just go unedited today. Y'all see it all from the time we start right now until I roll out of here about sunset today. I'm getting a late start, much later start than what I had hoped for today. We got a dang backlash on this reel. We'll get it together here directly. We're starting out with a bang today, folks. I've had a day, which I'll tell you about. That's why I'm late getting out here, because things ain't went well for me today. The old saying, no good deed goes unpunished, really sums up my day. My neighbor, I got about one neighbor that I like. She's a nice girl. She messaged me last night and asked if I could mow her yard for her. Her mower's tore up and her husband ain't been able to fix it and whatnot. And her yard's getting real high, and I was like, yeah, I'll come knock it out for you. Well, I was planning on fishing today because today's gonna be a nice day, but tomorrow and next day is supposed to rain, and it's gonna turn cold again over the weekend. And so I was like, well, hell, I better just go do it today. So I thought I'll sleep in this morning, let it warm up a little bit, get out there, mow her yard. Her yard ain't very big, wouldn't take me long. And then I'll come out here and we'll get out here right after lunch and have plenty of time to fish today. Well, I ain't never mowed her yard before. So you know how it is. When you mow your own yard, you learn where everything's at, where the roots in this tree stick up, or where there's a stump or rock at. You just know where things are at and able to navigate and mow around them, right? Well, this being my first time in her yard, and her yard's so high, like it needed to be, parts of it needed to be weed eated really before you mowed it, but ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm making my way down her yard toward the bottom of the hill, and it's at least shin high down there. And I mow down along the edge of her driveway down there to the bottom, and I go to turn, and as soon as I turned, I knew I had made a terrible mistake, because it is just nothing but swamp down there at the bottom of her yard. So I'm instantly stuck in my mower, and I get out, of course I can't do nothing with it. Well, I gotta walk up my house, get my truck and a chain, drive back down there, pull the mower out. Of course, I gotta drive back up to my house now and walk back down. So I mow, and of course, you know, her yard, it's got landmines all over between the sticks and her kids' toys. There's obstacles everywhere. But I get her yard done, and I come back home, and of course, it took longer to do her yard than what I thought it would, just because it was so high. I had to go over it twice. And then, of course, getting stuck, everything too, it significantly delayed me. So what I thought would be a 30-minute project turned into almost 2 hours. So I'm running late as it is, and I'm trying to get out here, give us plenty of time to fish for sunset. So I hop in a truck, off we go to the water. Well, I make it all the way to the interstate, and I realize, you know what I forgot? Camera bag. And it's kind of a big deal. If you're gonna film a video, you kind of need a camera, right? So here I go. I gotta turn around, drive all the way back home, get my camera bag, turn around, here we go again. So it's been a day, y'all. It's been a day, but you know what? We out here now. We ready to rock now. So we got both lines out. The rod on the right's got the body section. It's pretty good distance behind us. The one on the left got the head bait. It's not running as far, but we're 24 feet deep. We're gonna just go about a half a mile an hour down through here, give or take, and try to cover some water. We're gonna keep our speed at least, when I say half mile an hour, we're going to keep it at least half mile an hour a day. Sometimes, especially if I'm struggling to catch fish, I'll err on the side of slower. So I'll sometimes run like 0.3 to 0.5. Well, out here today, with us going with the current, I don't want to go that slow, because what I don't want is our baits getting pushed up into our dragging sinkers. So we need a little bit more. We got to be going faster than the current to keep everything running how it needs to be going. So that's number one reason for that. But the other thing too, water temps have heated up. Like, we're out here in the channel, we're 65-degree water temps out here. It's prime time, man. It's that time of year where the bite just usually starts getting better. And so I'm thinking these fish are going to be, when we find them, are going to be more active. They're going to be ready to feed, and it should be moving at a little bit faster clip, should still get us bit without any problems. Now, we'll see how that goes. You know, getting your hopes up can oftentimes get you let down. But I'm thinking now that we're getting back to doing what's been working and the type of places that's been working, these flats that have been running about 20 to 30 feet deep off the main river channel have been producing for the last couple months for me. I've done real well here in Tennessee. I've done real well down in Alabama. Like, I've been catching not only numbers of fish, but some big fish too, doing this pattern here. But I kind of, y'all know me, I love suspend fishing, and so I've been in the mood for it. And so that's what I've been trying to do the last few trips out, but I just can't get anything going with it. I don't know why. Wrong place, wrong time, I don't know. But I just ain't been able to get it going. So we're rolling with this today. We're going to hopefully get numbers of fish, hopefully find maybe some better quality blues. I mentioned flatheads. This time of year, when the water temps get up above 60 degrees, man, the flathead bite usually starts to really get going. Like, they start getting a lot, you start catching them more frequently, and you know me, I love me some flatheads. But when you're dragging, at least my experience anyway, you don't typically get a lot of flatheads. Now, I did get one, I guess it's been over a month ago now, I did get a flathead dragging. But I don't get them dragging like I do with other techniques, whether it be suspending or just anchoring and casting out on bottom. And it don't matter, when I'm suspending, it don't matter if I'm anchored and suspending baits or if I'm drifting and have suspended baits. The flatheads, for whatever reason, I catch a good number of flatheads suspending. But these baits that are dragging, I mean, our sinkers are dragging, our baits are up off the bottom, about the same distance off the bottom as what our suspended baits would be, but I just can't get the flatheads to eat them when I'm dragging. And as much water as we cover when we're doing this, you know damn well we're coming across some flatheads, but I just can't. Other than just an occasional, we already had something hitting right here. Has he got it? Crank down on that rod right there, folks. No, he ain't got it. Something was hitting him. That's our head bait. I ain't gonna, no more than pressure than he had on it, I ain't gonna reel that one in to check. It should still be on there. But yeah, I don't know why the flatheads don't seem to care for the dragging technique. It's one of the mysteries that I have picked my brain trying to figure out, but that's my experience. That's my personal experience. I can't speak for others. Some of y'all out there may have different experiences than that, but it seems like most of the people that I know and most of the people there that I maybe don't know personally, but kind of follow on social media, some fishing guides and tournament fishermen and stuff, it seems like the fellas who drag a lot and planer boards and whatnot, they don't seem to be posting a lot of flatheads. It seems to be mostly people who are anchor fishing or suspending baits or stuff like that. But it's the time of year, man. The time of year is right. We're here in April now. Things are starting to warm up. Water temperatures are warming up. And once you get above 60 degrees, it's like a switch happens with these catfish. They just seem, the bite it gets easier usually, most years. The bite just gets easier. Now, one thing that I think may have possibly contributed to me struggling my last few trips out, and I ain't got skunked on these trips, it's just, I'm not going to put out, I don't want to subject you all to a video where you catch one tiny fish, wait an hour and a half, catch another tiny fish, and that's your day. But you might, I mean, I feel like I might as well have gotten skunked, because, I mean, it's been just tiny fish. But one thing I think may have contributed to the issues I'm having is the fact we've had major changes to the weather and the water conditions. Like, we went through a warm stretch last week where temperatures were near record highs. Like, we were in the 80s. Now, I couldn't fish on them days because the wind was so ridiculously high. I mean, we were having 40, 50 mile an hour gusts. But boy, it was nice. I got a bunch of yard work done, got my house looking good. I mean, it was nice weather. But right after that, we had a period there of 80 plus degree days, and then the bottom fell out of it. We had that front come through. Unfortunately, for a lot of you that are west of me, y'all got the worst of that front, got the storms, tornadoes, flooding, and all that. Thankfully, in my area, we just had high winds. We didn't have any of the flooding or the storms or anything. But we had the 30-degree temperature drop. When that front passed through, we went from highs in the 80s to highs in the 50s. And that's a pretty significant drop. On top of that, our water level came up. We're at summer pool right now. And so from what we was prior to this storm to what we are now, you're talking about water coming up 6 to 8 feet. And that's pretty significant. So I think that the water rise, and in conjunction with the major front system that come through, I think it's just thrown the fish for a loop. And of course, the bite I was on, I got away from that and tried to just anchor down and suspend. And then I thought, well, I'm still going to suspend. I'll get out and drift the areas that have been producing. And it just, like I said, it didn't pan out. Gave it the college try. I've caught a bunch of fish suspending this time of year, but it ain't worked out here lately. So I'm hoping today, with us doing a technique that has been working and us going to cover so much water, I'm hoping, I don't know exactly what time it gets dark now, but I'm hoping we can get a good 4 hours in out here today. 4 hours at a half mile an hour is 2 miles. That's a good stretch that we'll cover down through here. Like I said, we're gonna come across some of these old creek channels and whatnot. And fish, if they're up in these, they ain't staying up in these creeks right now, because the nighttime temperatures are dropping down in the 30s. It's warm. Like I heard today, it's warm. It's in the 60s. But the nighttime temp's been dropping back down 30. So them fish, man, they're gonna pull out of them backwaters when they start to cool off at night. So I ain't expecting them to be up there long. They're gonna move up and feed and come back out. And I'm hoping that we come across some of them today that are just kind of out in front of them creeks or just roaming around on this flat feeding. That's what I'm hoping for, man. So the good thing is when you're doing this technique here and you're covering water, if we fish 4 hours, we're going to cover 2 miles at this speed. And we're not just covering a random 2 miles. We're covering a specific area. Like and I'll show you again here on the graph best I can. I'm hoping the glare ain't messing it up. And like this X here, if you can see that, that's a spot I've marked because that old creek channel comes out and dumps in right there, or would have dumped in before the reservoir was made. But we're gonna work that top edge, and we're gonna work it all the way down through here. And that's a specific spot. Working them break lines, when they're moving up and down a ledge, they will oftentimes hug a break line. Now, depending on the ledge, there could be multiple break lines on a ledge, and fish could be on any of them. Most of the time, when you see me fishing and I'm working a ledge, whether I'm dragging or drifting, you usually see me working the bottom edge. Like I would be down, like, we're up here on top today. Most of the time I'm down on the bottom. That's a high percentage area on the bottom. Up here on the top though, any fish you get up here this high up, they're going to be actively feeding. Like they're going to be roaming around. So we want to work that break line the full day. Like we don't want to veer off. I mean, if we were pulling planer boards, for instance, and we could spread out a bunch of baits, well then we could get out on the flat. We could work over here to the left and maybe find some fish that are roaming around out in here. But I don't like doing that. Y'all regular fishing buddies of mine here on these videos, I hate planer boards with a passion. So what we have to do, because we're not going to cover a big swath of water, we have to kind of pinpoint and target an area that's going to give us the best chance to succeed, and that is the break line. So we're going to work the top one today. If we do, let's say we fish for 45 minutes to an hour and we ain't getting nothing, I may dip off for a little bit and go hit the bottom one, see what's going on there before coming back up. But I really want to focus on the top edge here first. But them break lines, man, I can't emphasize that enough. Like if you're new to fishing especially, focus on them contours, man. Focus on that, because that's what's going to get you not only more fish, but you're going to catch more big fish doing that than just going out and willy-nilly. I mean, the good thing about catfish is because their whole body is basically one big tongue, if you will. Like they can taste any blood or oils in the water, like they can taste it throughout their whole body. You don't always have to be super precise with catfish. If they're active and they pick up on your scent trail, they will come and get a bait. But the more precise you can be, the more closely you're going to put your baits in front of fish. And on days where they're not super active, oh, we got a dang, hold on y'all, we got a dang spider. Y'all see that spider? He was crawling across the damn camera. We got critters up in here now. Call Terminex, get the exterminator out here. This kayak needs to be debugged. But I was trying to say before old spider legs there interrupted. On days where fish ain't super active and they're not wanting to eat, sometimes they're not going to come far for your bait. And so if you can just put your bait, hit them on the face with it, that'll oftentimes trigger a bite. You can maybe get some fish that you wouldn't have got otherwise. So I'm big on precision, man. I've told you a lot before. I'm a Buck Perry guy. Buck Perry was the godfather of structure fishing. He's the one that coined the terms like breaks and break lines and stuff like that. Like the terminology we use, he invented that because he was kind of the first to figure it out. He literally wrote a book on structure fishing, and I've read it numerous times. And once I started following Buck Perry's teachings, my catch rates went up. My big fish catch rates went up. Everything improved. And so that's one thing I really want to emphasize to you. That's why I always show you my graph and the contour map on there to try to show you how I'm approaching my day, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm anchoring, drifting, dragging, whatever. I want you to see how I'm working an area so that hopefully you can apply that on your home body of water. But the more precise you can be, it's one of the things I can't emphasize enough, the more precise you can be, the better your catches will be. And here's an analogy. Here's a comparison for you. I'm going to try to weave this in best I can. You baseball fans will be able to understand it pretty easy, but some of you out there don't like baseball. You may get lost in the weeds on this, and I apologize in advance. But back in my youth, there was a pitcher named Greg Maddux, played for the Braves. And he's a Hall of Fame pitcher. But he never threw hard. And of course, when I was a kid, some of them guys could throw high 90s. It wasn't like there are today where every single person in a starting lineup on a baseball team is throwing 95 plus. Back in them days, it wasn't like that, but still, guys threw hard. They were trying to, most major league pitchers were just trying to throw the ball hard. They're trying to throw the ball past the hitter. Greg Maddux was never like that. He wasn't ever throwing hard like that. But he was so accurate. He was so precise. He could paint a corner of the plate with any of his pitches. And he got a lot of guys out because of it. He had a Hall of Fame career because of it. But he was a pitcher, not a thrower. And that's the same thing we're trying to do when we're on the water. We're trying to be precise. We're trying to paint the corners of the plate because that's what we have to work with. You know what I mean? Like we're out here in a kayak fishing 2 rods. Like, oh, right here, buddy, right here. Oh no, he dropped it. The one hit it. He hit it hard too. He pulled a little bit. I kind of do want to reel in on that one. Make sure he didn't rip the bait off. I'm hoping he'll come back and get it here in a second. That was happening my last trip out. They were short striking it a little bit. Of course, again, you didn't see that video. I ain't gonna subject you to it. I think he's got the bait. Yeah, he ripped us off. I'm glad we checked that. Good thing y'all talked me into checking. Let's get another shad put on. But yeah, with us being in a kayak, we don't have an opportunity to run all over the river. We can't cover a huge spread out here. So what we have to do with the limited baits that we do have in the water, and we're running 2 rods right now, we have to be precise with where we put them. We have to put them in the best chance possible to get bit. And if we're able to do that today, we're going to catch them. And if we're not able to, I'm gonna blame you all. Well, good news for you though. If you're seeing this, we caught something. I ain't gonna post no skunk video. I've been doing YouTube for 10 stinking years now. This is my 10th year. I've yet to put out a skunk video. We ain't starting today. So we've caught something if you're seeing this. We're seeing some bait right here too, so that's a little school of something. That's a school of something. And look where we're at. We're 21 feet, but we're about to drop off here into that old creek channel here in a minute. Because right there's where I've made that mark. I'm gonna get us moving a little bit to the left. We're about to drop off over that ledge a little bit. We don't want to do that. We just want to be right on the edge of the drop. When you're trying to fish a break, what a break line is, for those of you that may not be familiar, is a break line is a rapid increase or decrease in the depth. That's all it is. It's a fancy word for that. It's a rapid change in depth. And so you take a ledge, for instance, out here in the main river channel, it's fairly flat and consistent. When you come up on this ledge, you have that rise, right? Like the corner there, it comes up. That rod right there got hit as I was saying it. So it comes up. So there's your break line right on that corner as it starts to come up. Now up that ledge, you may have some more break lines up through there, and fish could work up any of them or along any of them. But then when you get to the top, you've got another one out here in this area, for instance, because you've got this flat that's pretty consistent before it drops off. So the break lines that are in the middle of the ledge, I don't fool with them much. That fish, he's still after that bait. I probably should try to focus on those break lines that are coming up the ledge a little more, but for me, I'm gonna do the high percentage plays, the top and the bottom. And we've dropped off. See right here? We in that old channel. We dropped down 27 feet right here. Right over where Navionics said that old channel was. That one actually exists. Some of these creek channels you come across, you'll see them on a map, but they'll be silted in. Or possibly they wasn't that deep to begin with. But that one there, that's the reason I'd marked it, is because you actually do drop down several feet. Now then here in a minute, we come out of that thing, the depth will come back up. I'm gonna let out just a little bit more line on that one before we flip that bail over. But it's interesting, we got there around that creek and we started seeing some schools of bait. I didn't see enough there to make me want to stop and spot lock or anything, especially with how poorly I've done with that technique. But it's encouraging at least to see some bait that's out here toward the end of this creek. That lets me know if there's bait out here at the end, then there should be plenty of bait up in the creek, and therefore you should have some catfish working in and out to go get them. All right, let's throw this bail over there now, get to pulling it. I'm gonna leave our rod on the right, I'm gonna leave it out for now, because a fish tapped it a couple times, but he didn't hit it hard enough to make me think that he's ripped the bait off. When you're using shad, gizzard shad, it's a softer bait. So when you have a harder takedown that don't get hooked up like that one on the left we had there a couple minutes ago, you need to check your baits because it's liable to get ripped off. If you're using a bigger bait like skipjack or a white bass, yellow bass, something like that, they're a little bit tougher. They're less likely to get ripped off, but shad, especially if you got smaller shad like we have today, that's 8 inches or less and they're kind of thin, they'll get ripped off. Now, fortunately, it's not a huge deal if that happens because we have plenty of bait. I got more than enough for us to fish today. We're good on bait. But what you don't want to do is, when you're only fishing 2 rods, be having a rod get hit, have your hook strip clean, not check it, and then fish for another 30 minutes to an hour pulling just a bare hook around. You can catch fish a lot of ways. It's hard to catch them on a bare hook. So I'm gonna try to stay on top of that today. Sometimes I get a little lazy with it, but today we're gonna be all over it. We're gonna be on it like white on rice, buddy. I'm feeling it today. We've had to overcome so much today just to get out here on the water. I'm feeling like we're due, man. The universe, it just owes us one today. I got a feeling we're gonna bust a big fish today. Sometimes I go to the water and I know when I get out there, like, I'm not gonna do any good today. You can just feel it. It's like an inner feeling. And I'm a bit of a pessimist, so I say that, okay, it come free. I was like, we about to get snagged. As here I am talking about how we're gonna catch something big, and we're gonna catch a damn tree down there. We'll catch the biggest thing in this river, the way tree fitty. But these other days though, you leave your house, You get on the water and you're like, man, today's my day. I can just feel it. And I feel like today's going to be a good day for us. Now that we're finally out here, and I think that's a fish. That's a fish right there. Let's reel in the first one if we can keep him hooked. We're coming out of that creek now, so we're back up, going up an incline here. So that fish there was probably either around the edge of the creek channel or just down in it. It's fairly wide creek. So, I don't know, but nevertheless, we're getting our first fish here. He ain't gonna be one to write home to your mama about, but it's the first bite. Some days the first bite never happens. We had about a half-mile line out, didn't we? Good golly. There we go. Oh, blue cat. Now, if we get some bigger dinks today, we're going to put them on measuring board for a slot tournament that I'm in. But this one here is so small. If he's on my score at the end of the month on that slot tournament, we lose. So we ain't fooling with him. He wanted to get out of here anyway. But look right here. See, we've already come back up to 20 feet deep. We went down in that old creek channel. Now we've come back out. So we'll keep making our way along. I didn't see nothing about that creek that makes me want to stick around. Cut another bait here. This is a probably 6-inch range shad, so we'll throw that head out because I've cut so much of I want to get a big section of this body piece, so there ain't a lot to work with on a 6-inch shad. So we'll throw out the head and the tail and hook it up. I got plenty, so we don't have to be real conservative with our pieces. All right. Back on the move there, folks. First fish in the books. Like right here, see there we're coming across another fish right there. And that's just a basic graph right there, 2D graph with a map card. I've had that thing since like 2017, 2018, I think. Give $200 for it back in the day. I got a live scope too, but I've took it off this kayak. And I just suck at live scope and I get frustrated with it. So I'm just going back to 2D graphing. That's all I need for the fishing that I do. I need to know my depth. I need to know my speed. And I like having that map card right there so I can kind of see where I'm at, be able to confirm that I am where I think I am on a particular structure. And then that allows me to do that, having that map card side by side with the 2D. But that's all I need, man. The live scope's more of a novelty thing for me. I can't go out. If we just had the live scope on today and you said, Justin, take that damn live scope and go out and catch fish with it, I might could do it, but I doubt it. I had some success with that technique, sniping catfish in the winter a couple years ago, but outside of the winter months, I ain't done no good with it. And I'll tell you what else too, like this past winter, I was trolling. When we'd be dragging or something, I'd throw out a live bait behind me. And I'd like to have done that today too, but I didn't get out here enough time to net us any live baits. But I was trolling that around, and man, we were catching a bunch of catfish up in the water column. I got recent videos, me just shellacking catfish that were up. And that kind of correlates. That kind of goes along with what I was experiencing a couple years ago there when I first got live scope and I was going out and seeing catfish up in the water and was able to drop jigs in their face and catch them. But there a couple years ago, that bite petered out once we got into spring. Once water temperatures got up about 60 degrees, that bite, there's like them fish went deeper. That bite where they were up, it just disappeared. And if you notice, the last few times I've been out and I've had the live baits trolling behind us up in the water column, we ain't done no good. We ain't getting bit now like we was before. Now, I do still want to do it. I kind of want to just, at least what I'm dragging anyway, and trolling like this, it's not a big deal to throw out a live bait behind us. The thing just got tapped again. Just flip that bail over and it's already getting a little tap. But I do want to keep doing the live baits, just see what all we can get into with it. But I do think it's a wintertime bite when them fish are up more. Now what I want to do though, I think I told you all about this. I know I've told my channel members. I do other videos for my channel members, people, my Catfish Club people. And I told them, and I kind of showed them what I was wanting to do, but I didn't get to do it. I was wanting to take a tiller handle trolling motor, connect my live scope to the shaft of that thing, and be able to steer with the motor and the live scope at the same time, leaving one hand free to be able to cast when I'd come across fish. Because when I had the live scope on this thing, I'm steering the motor with the remote with my right hand. I'm steering the live scope transducer with my left hand. I see a fish, I got to put one or both of these down, pick up my rod, and try to make a cast before the kayak moves or the fish moves. That's part of the challenge of it. So I wanted to be able to keep one hand free all the time. And I'd borrowed my friend Daniel's new canoe kayak when I had the leak in this one. I, of course, fixed the leak in this thing. We're back fishing out of it, but before I was going to take that kayak back to Daniel, as we're getting left rod hit now. That's another one we don't want to catch right there. That's too small. If he can't get the bait and the hook, he's not worth fooling with. Tell him leave it alone. Y'all tell him leave it alone. He ain't listening to me. He's still after it. He's still after it. Y'all, one of yous tell him with some authority too. I think he may have a damn thing. He does have it. Reel him in. If he ain't going to listen to you, then you just go ahead and reel him in. This fish is disrespectful right here. He ain't got no respect for me. I heard y'all tell him he ain't got no respect for you either. This fish is defiant. He's going to do what he wants to do. I wouldn't be surprised if we get him up here and he don't spit the hook before we even see him too. He ain't big as nothing. An old fish. It's a bite though. We're gonna get some bites today. I can feel it, man. I tell you we're gonna get some bites. Yeah, that's another one about the same size as the one we got before. We gotta find some bigger fish than this, man. We need something. We need something that when we pull on it, it pulls back. This feller here, about 20 years from now, he'll pull back, but right now, he kind of gets drug along. Did you see him come back up out of the water though? You talk about making the most of your opportunity. That fish, he knew it was his chance. It was his big break to be on this video. Well, he was going to get it, buddy. I got this one. I don't know, what is that, a shiner? I think that's a shiner. let's put that thing on there. I only got one of these. We'll give it a shot. See what it'll do. I like them things live. It'll either get bit or it won't. It's another one though that's so small, we're going to need to check it if it gets tugged on and fish don't hook up, although I can't hardly get that dang hook through the skull there. All right. But yeah, I planned on trying out Daniel's new canoe with my live scope idea, but I ran into a little bit of an issue. His new canoe has a rudder system on it, the new canoe rudder. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't care for the rudder when I took his kayak out. I didn't think it was very useful. Like it didn't steer the kayak very good. And in new canoes, I mean, the new canoe Unlimited, it's a bigger kayak. So it needs a bigger rudder, or it needs that rudder to go down in the water a little deeper. And the new canoe, it just don't. There's something about it, you just don't get very good turns with it, which defeats the purpose of having it, right? But anyway, I thought I'll just pop that thing off there. I'll put on that tiller handle motor and try out my idea. Well, I don't know if Daniel done it or the person he bought that kayak used. I don't know if the person he bought it from done it, but man, that rudder it's like bolted on there, like through the hole, bolted on. And it just didn't. It ain't coming off as easy as I thought it was going to come off. Like I'm going to have to disassemble the whole thing to do what I want. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I mean, it'd be one, if it was my kayak, I'd do it. Well, I mean, hell, I'd take that damn rudder system off anyway because it ain't worth the crap. But it ain't my kayak. You know, it's Daniel's. And so I don't want to potentially take something apart and not be able to get it back on or lose a piece or something, because I'm not mechanically inclined, folks. Like I'm just, everybody's got skills, things they're good at in life. Me working with tools, it ain't one of my skills. All right, I just ain't. That ain't my area, ain't never been. And so I'm hesitant to be taking apart anything on something that ain't mine. So here's what I'm hoping to do now. I'm hoping that over the course of the next few months, I can catch enough fish between 29 inches and 30 inches to do well in these slot tournaments. This slot tournament I'm fishing, these are month-long events, and y'all can get in on these too if you want to. But they're month-long events, and it scores 10 fish, closest to 30 inches without touching the line. So basically you can score a fish 29 3/4 inches is the max score. And whoever gets the closest to that max score end of the month, you win. You win, you get 100 points, second place 99, third place 98, all the way down. We got 30 people in it here for the month of April. Your best 5 tournaments over the next 7 months. They're running 7 of these things. Your best 5 scores wins you a kayak if you win at the end. Plus, there's a little cash money too for your entry fee every month. This month, I think it pays 4 places, 3 or 4 places this month for having 30 people. Ain't much money because the entry fee ain't very much, $25. But I'm going to try my best to get us some fish that are in that range and try to win that daggone kayak. And if I win it, then we're going to try out our live scope idea. So I don't know if I can or not, but I've had good success in slot tournaments in the past. And I swore I'd never do any more of them because honestly, I just get tired of measuring fish. You got to measure so many of these fish that we've caught here today. They're so small, I can look at them and know they're nowhere close to 30 inches. But fish that are, say, 27 to 32 inches, it's hard to just look at them and know what length they are without physically putting them on a board. And them small fish never want to behave on a board. They want to flip and flop and act a fool. And then, of course, if it is a fish you want to get a picture of for a tournament, you've got to get a picture of it. So it's just, I swore I wasn't ever going to do any more of them, and then here we are. It's been probably 2 years since I fished in one of them. I'd gotten away from it. They just wasn't a lot of people signing up for them. But this kayak kind of it's the carrot on the stick, man. There's a lot of people, at least for the first month here. Now we'll see, depending on how some of these people do, we'll see if they come back for another round of it or not. Some people, of course, I can't say nothing. Like I ain't near the top of the leaderboard right now, but I've only submitted one fish. I've turned in that 129.5-inch fish we got there on a recent trip, but that's the only fish on my score, so I'm way down on the leaderboard. But as we catch more fish that are in that range, we'll start to climb. Some of these people that are in a tournament, they're just submitting whatever they catch. So, like the guy leading it right now, I clicked on his score there yesterday, and it's a live leaderboard. Like, you can look and see what other people's scores are, but I clicked on his score, and he's got a bunch of 21, 22, 23-inch fish on there, and I'm like, you know, I've done enough of these to know that you ain't winning if you got 22, 23-inch fish on your score. Like, it's going to take 10 fish that are above 29 inches to win this thing in a month-long slot tournament. So right now, you and I, we're way down on the bottom of the barrel of this tournament. But over the course of the month, we're going to slowly start creeping up. And we could, I mean, like I said, we could just go ahead and submit these smaller fish. I mean, like, we could land a fish, get our bait going back out, do it, and climb up the leaderboard, but it's just going to get replaced. It's going to have to get replaced over the course of the month, so why do it? And as far as, I mean, I feel like you need to win. I think the person that wins the kayak, your best 5 scores, I think you're going to have 5 top 3 finishes for sure. I think you're probably going to need to win at least 3 of the tournaments with a couple more top 3s to have a chance at winning that thing. So for me, like, let's say we got some 24, 25-inch fish. We know we ain't going to do a damn bit of good with them. Like, if we ain't got a chance at winning, I don't want to fool with it, because it don't matter. Like, if we got enough fish to finish 6th or 7th, 8th place, I'd rather just finish dead last and not measure the fish. Because I know at the end of the season, if one of our best scores is a 6th place finish, we ain't winning the kayak. So I just don't want to fool with it. Maybe tomorrow, next day, well, I ain't going to fish tomorrow, next day, because it's going to rain, but one of these next trips, maybe I will want to fool with it, and we'll measure them and submit them and all that, but right now, I just don't want to fool with it. It's all about the mood, you know. You gotta just cater to yourself and your own personal needs, folks. But I do hope to get to fish a little more coming up, man. I lost several days with them high winds, and At least it was, some of y'all that live west of me, I mean, was just getting pounded with rain. I mean, terrible floods. I seen pictures there and videos on social media, first of the tornadoes and then the floods, and it's awful. You hate to see people going through that. Spend your whole life working, build a house, property and everything for your family, and it just get wiped out in a tornado. And it's always a humble reminder of what Mother Nature can do. We build our lives, our homes and cities and everything to be able to ward off most of Mother Nature's problems. Rain, storms, wind. We can protect ourselves from most things Mother Nature throws at us, but when she gets mad, real mad, starts spitting out tornadoes and hurricanes and, well, that shiner head, he got to eat. He got to eat down there. It's another blue. I didn't feel him rolling. I think he's going to be about as big as the others from what he feels like, but I'll tell you this, buddy. Well, we've been on the water now. About an hour, yeah, about an hour. We already got 3 fish. And a couple more bites there that didn't hook up. That's compared to what I've been doing lately, just suspending. Like when I've been suspending the last few trips out, I'm getting fish this size, but I'm getting 2 or 3 a trip. It ain't been 3 here in an hour, so that's good. We'll already see an improvement getting back here doing this technique. We just gotta get our baits in front of some better quality fish. At some point down through here, I'm just feeling like we're going to today. I kind of hope this fish here's left the, well, he ain't. I was kind of hoping he had left that shiner on there. So I'd like to have got another fish off of it potentially, since that was the only one we had. But he said, you know what, I'm gonna eat that thing or throw it off of hook 1. You need to eat too, fish. Look at him. Look how skinny he is. Go eat you a sandwich. Get that fish a peanut butter sandwich, somebody. The old thing. Look like he's starving to death down there. Yeah, here's another one here that's kind of small, but we're gonna roll with it. It took me a while the other day to find shad. I was finding some threadfin, but gizzards were a little bit tougher to find. I launched in one creek and threw in there, and that's where I was getting threadfins at, and I ended up having to run down river to another creek and finally found the gizzards all the way in the back of it. They were way back in there. I couldn't hardly, even in the kayak, I couldn't hardly get back to where they were at, but once I did, I was able to load up. There was a bunch of them back there, but they were just all stacked up back there. Yeah, Mother Nature, buddy, when she gets mad, she can be destructive. And thankfully, I mean, in my house, it was just, we had the high winds, we had one day of rain, and it wasn't even hard rain. It was kind of a steady rain all day. So I was able to get a bunch of stuff done on them windy days. I got my yard mowed, I got all the weed eating done, I got weed killer sprayed all the way around my fence, around my property. Got some of the garden stuff ready to go. So, I mean, I accomplished a lot. But it has cost us some time fishing. You know, I'd like to be doing them yard work chores in the afternoons and fishing in the mornings, but it's just been so cold in these mornings. I'd rather wait till the afternoons, and well, then it's so windy, and Got to pick your poison right now. I'll tell you this story too, but this was weird. So I'm mowing the other day, and get my yard and everything done. And so I got done, and I was going to get my weed killer sprayed. And I was running out of daylight, but I thought, I can probably get it done. Well, every year in the spring, there's always some problems. So I go to get my sprayer out. I got a big 15-gallon sprayer, and I put it on the front of my lawnmower. I got a 0-turn mower there, so the foot rest area, I can put that 15-gallon sprayer there and put my feet on top of the tank, and then I can go around the yard and spray my weeds and around the fence line and stuff. Well, I get everything mixed up. I go to take off and get to my fence there, and I go to start to spray, and man, it's going everywhere. I look at my handle, and it's all, I guess it froze over the winter. So last year, my sprayer wand froze. And I went to spray last year, and it was shooting out, weed killer was shooting out the shaft of the sprayer every which way. And so when I replaced it, I got a metal one. I thought, well, by God, we got a metal one. It ain't gonna freeze if I leave a little water in there. Because every time I'm done spraying weed killer, I wash out the tank, and I'll run some fresh water through there, through the hose and everything, keep from getting it all gunked up and everything with the weed killer. But water's still in that hose sometimes, and the spout. But anyway, I got a metal one last year. So I thought, oh, if it freezes, no big deal, it's metal. Well, the sprayer wand was metal, but the handle was plastic, and that's what froze. So anyway, I'm just about to start spraying in the afternoon there, and got a mess. And of course, my local Home Depot and Tractor Supply, it ain't got no replacement wands. So I got to go all the way to Rural King in Maryville, which is about 30 minutes each way. So by the time I got back that evening, I couldn't get all of the spraying done before dark. So I had to finish up the next morning. And it's a long-winded story to tell you what I'm about to tell you. So I'm finishing up there the next morning, and I'm down on the road. And so in front of my yard there, I've got my fence, and then it goes down the bank in a little gully there to the road. So what I do is I'll take the mower out on the road and spray up that hill toward my fence. That way I get it all, from the road up, basically. And so I'm kind of creeping my way up the road, and I'm like, of course, it's my road. It ain't got much traffic on it. Like, it ain't. I'm gonna see one or two cars, especially out there in the morning hours, right? So, like, I'm coming up the road into oncoming traffic this way, but if somebody's coming, they got plenty of room to go around me. It ain't like I'm creating a traffic jam, but I'm spraying along, I'm whatnot. And this van starts coming down the road at me. So I stopped spraying because I don't want to. The wind was blowing. I didn't want to accidentally have a wind gust and get weed killer on him. And most people would just wave and drive on around you. Well, this guy, he's just creeping by. Just crawling. Like, I'm sitting there waiting on him to go by so I can get back to what I'm doing. And I look in the window there, and he's about 100 years old. Dude is just, he's old. I ain't trying to be an ageist or anything, but dude's old. And as he gets by, like, where I can see in his window's down, he does this motion at me, like, he raises his arm and he's doing this motion like under his armpit, like you're putting on deodorant. And then he drives on. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what is he saying? I stink? Is he saying I need deodorant? Like, I'm on a mower. I don't know this guy. He obviously lives somewhere in my neighborhood, but I'm like, what does that even mean? I couldn't understand it. And I spent the rest of the morning there and spraying weed killer, and I'm rationalizing this in my head. I'm like, is he saying I stink? Is he against me spraying weeds? Is like the practice of it stink? Is it because I was wearing a mask because I'm on the mower and I'm spraying toxic chemicals? Like, I don't want to breathe that stuff in. Is he against the masks? Because that was a political topic for a while, people wearing masks and stuff. I'm like, what is going on? And then it dawned on me. I'm like, this guy's probably old and senile. He looked way too old to be driving anyway. I'm trying to just get in the mind of somebody who's probably just demented. Now, so then I'm upset with myself, but your guess is as good as mine what the hell he was trying to do with his little deodorant armpit type thing. Maybe it meant something different back in his day. In my generation, if we got a problem with somebody, you driving down the road, you just flip them off. You show them the middle finger. Maybe in this guy's day, things were different. I don't know. But nevertheless, it was an awkward, weird situation. I hope I see him again sometime. Hell, I'd just like to ask him. I totally would ask him too. He clearly didn't have no problem interacting with me, doing that gesture as he went by. Weird though, man. There's just some weird people in the world. I'll tell you this story too. I don't know if I've told this or not. I may have told this story before on a live stream or something. I can't remember. But I had another interaction with an old person, like really old, a few years ago in a Walmart parking lot. I had been in the store and I'd come back out. And I was sitting in my car and I had to make a phone call there. I was making the call before I left the parking lot. And I'm just sitting in the parking spot. Like, my car's not on, I'm just sitting there, I'm on the phone. And this old person pulls into the spot in front of me. And they pull in and they just keep inching closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, man, this guy's gonna hit me. And the next thing you know, you feel tap. He ran into the front of my car with the front of his car. And I'm like, damn, I knew that was gonna happen because he just kept getting closer and closer and closer. And he didn't hit it hard because he was just inching up. But like, why are you parking that damn close for? And so I'm on the phone, and so I was like, hold on a minute. And so I step out of the car, and I go up there and look at the front of my car. Of course, there ain't no damage because he just barely tapped me, but I just throw up my hands like, really, dude? Like, what the hell? And the next thing I know, this guy, and I say he's old. He looks every bit 80 years old. I don't know how old he was, but he looks old. He gets out the car, and dude starts trying to pick a fight with me. He's like, you want to fight me? You got a problem with me? Come on, boy, hit me. I dare you to hit me. I'll sue your ass and take everything you got. Hit me right now. I'm an old man. Hit me. I'm like, and I'm looking around. I start laughing. I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, I'm being pranked. Like, I'm waiting on Pro Moderator to come running up laughing, or somebody else, like somebody's got a camera on me. Like, this is one of my friends that have set me up for this. Like, I'm having a joke played on me right now. But nobody comes running up. And I'm like, dude, you got a problem. So, what am I going to do? I ain't going to fight some old man. And that rod right there got hit. So anyway, I get back in my car. He gets back in his, which I don't know why he was he was coming to Walmart. Like, I had already shopped and was done and was just sitting there on the phone before I left. Like, he had just come into Walmart, like, you would think he's ready to go into the store. And he had a woman with him too, I assume his wife, because she was old too. He gets back in the car, and we're having like an old Western stare down here, because I'm finishing my conversation here on the phone. I'm telling them everything, having a good laugh over this. And dude's just eyeballing me in his car, which is literally now 1 inch away from my bumper. So after he hit, I guess he bounced back. Maybe he pulled back, I don't know, but we're like an inch apart. And it was probably 2 or 3 minutes later of us just sitting there looking at each other. He finally backs out and leaves. And I see him driving down the road like he completely left Walmart. He never even went in the store. And I'm like, again, what the hell is wrong with people? Like, what is going on here? Like, what? I mean, I could totally get it if it was one of my friends playing a prank on me, but it wasn't. Like, it was just some old dude that just pulled into the parking spot and just kept creeping up until he hit me, and then tried to pick a fight with me. Like, I mean, it was just weird, man. And I'd forgot about that story, you know, I'd forgot, it ain't something, it wasn't something in my mind. It's been a few years, and of course I'm out there spraying the weed killer, and another old demented person's doing the deodorant armpit thing, and it triggered in my mind, put that other old guy. What are the odds it'd be the same one too? You think it could be? Oh, there's a lot of old demented people these days. I'll be there too at some point. But I'm like, man, it's just, every time I leave my house, I just wish I didn't. When I get to that age, when I get senile, I hope one of two things happens. Either one, I hope I'm so just out of my gourd, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know what kind of condition I'm in. That's the best possible scenario. Like, if you're just that old and decrepit, the best thing you could hope for is to not know that you're old and decrepit. The other possible scenario that I would hope for is to just to be so damn old that I just don't give a damn anymore. And I'll just say and do whatever I want, no consequences, because I'm 100 years old. Even if you piss somebody off, what are they going to do? You're 100 years old. I hope it's one of them two scenarios for me. It probably will be if I'm fortunate enough to live a long life. I get, you know, sometimes you get behind these old people. I got stuck on Highway 70. It's been a week or two ago now. I was coming back from the river. It's 55 on Highway 70. And this guy was doing like 35. And there ain't nowhere to pass through there. Like, you stuck. Basically from Kingston to Lenore City, you stuck. You can't pass. So we did 35 miles an hour all the way up through there. He had a line of cars. I was right behind him, but there was 10 cars deep behind him there. He had everybody backed up and didn't give a damn. He wasn't pulling over. He wasn't speeding up. 35 miles an hour the whole freaking way, man. And it's like, when you behind one of them people, I'm cussing the whole time because I hate driving that slow. There's something about just driving under the speed limit that just pisses me off. I don't know why, but it just does. It bothers me. So I'm cussing the whole time, and I'm like, man, this guy, he shouldn't have a license. Like, if you can't drive a damn speed limit, you don't need to be driving, period. I mean, it's one thing if it's raining or snowing or something, but it was a bright, sunny day. Roads were dry. Like, put your foot on the gas and get the hell on. But then I'm like, someday I'm going to be that old. And I'm still going to have to go to the store and get groceries and run errands and doctor's appointments. And when I'm old, it ain't like I'm going to have anybody take me to them things. I'm going to have to do it myself because I ain't got no kids. And I'm 43. My girlfriend's 38. Like, I don't think kids are in our future. So it's like when I get to be old and decrepit, I'm going to have to still drive. I'm going to be one of them people. So on one hand, I want people like that to have their licenses pulled. But on the other hand, it's like when I get to be that age, I'm going to need a damn driver's license. So I try to be empathetic. But it's hard when we're going 35 miles an hour and they won't pull off. Like, just pull off. Just let the 10 cars that's backed up behind you, let us go on, and then you can proceed 35 miles an hour like you was doing. But he wasn't having it, man. He just did not give a damn. That's the way to live, buddy. Be so old and demented you don't know what world you're in, or just be so old that you just don't have to care anymore. What's going on with our line back here? I feel like I don't feel like we got any bait on there. Have we been ripped off? We've been pulling a bare hook, y'all. Hell, ain't no wonder we ain't getting bit on here. The line, I think it was around my rudder or something. Yeah, we've been stripped clean. Y'all been fishing with a bare hook. I told you, I warned you about that. Y'all didn't listen. Y'all been back there just pulling bare hooks. Hard to catch fish without bait, folks. You can do it a lot of ways, but it always helps to have bait on. Now that one's getting hit. Here, let's get this bait on. Well, he decides if he wants to play with us or not. Let's go ahead and get this next one on. I wish we had a little bit bigger shad. I need to rummage around in that bag and see what I can find for us. See if we got a few bigger ones in there. These smaller pieces here, I just like having to have a bigger piece of bait on there. Need to find us some skipjack again. I ain't been able to locate them with the water change and all. That fish is on there too, buddy. He's on there. We got that other line going out. Let's reel this one in. But yeah, I ain't been able to find no skipjack lately, folks. I was on them real good, and then we had a water drop. Then we had a rain, and everything got blown out. Them creeks was real muddy. Now our water level's up. Oh, he just come off. Y'all lost that one. We didn't want him no way. There's another one of them real little ones. He left the bait on though. Oh, that's why he come off. The bait turned back in on itself. Now let's switch that out. No point in throwing on a bait that's all tore up and everything. Here, let's look around in our bag and see what we can find. Maybe there's a bigger one. That's what we want. I knew I had a few bigger ones in there. There we go. That'll be better. That will be a much better bait. Yeah. All right. Old gizzard shad. They are a fairly reliable bait when you can't find skips anywhere. Okay, right here. Let me show you this right quick, folks. You see that drop right there? We come out of it, what we've done. We've come out of that creek. There's another one that will X's. That creek, old creek channel, I don't know if you can see it on the graph, but it come and we just come out of that thing. Right there's something on the top too, but that was another very pronounced creek channel that we're working through right here. Our bait's gonna be working through here in a minute. Sometimes you come up in real steep inclines like, oh, look at that. Something hit it. Has he got it and coming toward us? He's coming right at us. No, he ain't. Did I imagine that, folks? Y'all saw that line just peeling off there all of a sudden, didn't you? It looked like a fish had hit our bait and was just stripping line all of a sudden. I thought maybe when I didn't feel him, I thought maybe he was swimming right at us, but y'all just made me look dumb. I wouldn't imagine that though. I mean, it did start just spooling off real quick. Yeah, I would like to have some skipjacko if I can ever get back on them again. I'm hoping if things will stabilize, I can find them again. But I was on them real good until we had all the changes. I never got back on them. I failed to adapt. That's the thing about all types of fish, whether it's catfish, skipjack, whatever it is you're fishing for. You get on a bite, it'll stay pretty consistent until something changes with the wind or the weather or the water conditions. And then once there's a change, the bite changes and you got to change with it. And I just ain't been able to make the right change to get back on the skips. I think I'm about ready to flip that one over there. I'm not going to run it too terribly far behind us. The way the wind's blowing right now, it was a little bit more choppy when we first started fishing, but we've made it so far down now. The closer, the wind's coming from like this way, so the closer we get to that shoreline, the more protected we are and the calmer the water is. If the water's real choppy, I want to run the baits farther behind us so that they're not bouncing around with the kayak as much. When the water's calmer, we don't need them super far behind us. And the closer we can run them to us, the better the fights are going to be, the more intense they're going to be. That's why I like suspend fishing so much. Because, if I'm fishing 40 feet of water, I've got 38 feet of line out. It's a more intense battle the shorter the line, it's more fun. Because catfish, they fight hard, but they don't fight for long periods of time. Like even when you see me catch a big fish, it don't last very long. You get them in just a few minutes. So the more line, if you got 100 plus yards of line out when you're dragging or something, most of the fight's way back there behind you. By the time you get to fish up to you, you're just dragging in dead weight. Hold on a second here, folks. I gotta get my battery pack plugged in there. There we go. Now we back on it. There's another fish right there. We just coming across sporadic fish today. Well, I've kept an eye on this thing as we've went along, but I ain't seen no piles of fish, no schools of fish or anything. I kind of want to, we've been at it so long, I kind of want to venture off to a little bit deeper, maybe hit that deeper break line down there and see what's going on there. I don't know, it's one of them things, like you do that and then it might be when you're about to put your bait in front of a fish up here. Of course, part of the reason we ain't been catching as many fish up here is because we was running that one line with a bare hook on it for who knows how long. The other option, too, if we did want to venture off from the original plan, would be to work back into one of these creeks, super shallow, because if it's 65 out here, I bet you it's a couple degrees warmer in this creek after, with it being a bright sunny day, warm afternoon here. So we got options. We can't do them all. We can do anything we want, but you can't do everything you want. Ain't that old saying? You can have anything you want in life, but you can't have everything. Which I don't know if that's true, because depending on what it is you want, may or may not be possible, even if it is the only thing you want. But nevertheless, we know we've got 2 baits on the hook now. We know we're in a place that has some fish, because we are getting bit a little bit. If there's some small fish here, hopefully we'll stumble across a big one. Or at least a bigger, man. I'd like to have at least something that's closer to 30 inches so we could score something for the slot tournament. I'll pull up this thing here. Let you all take a peek at the scoreboard in case you all want to get in on it. So it's on the Fishing Chaos app. You go to online catfishing tournaments. That's the group there our tournament director runs, and you'll find this national slot tournament. And so here we are, 30 people in it. There's been only 58 entries thus far. And like I said, first place there, 233 inches. 10 fish, if you had the best score possible, which would be 29 3/4 inches. Your 10 best fish would be 297.5 inches. And I think it'll probably take, I wouldn't be surprised if it took 295 to win. So, you know, nobody's really running away with it. You can click on anybody, this is public, you can click on anybody, but like here, you can click on us and click on the picture there, and it'll show you, there I am, our fish that we scored there. And you can click on anybody's and look at theirs. You can see all their listings up through here. A lot of 25, 27, there's a couple 29.5. So that person there is technically in the lead probably, because he's got 2 29.5s and a 28 on his score. So he's probably, in reality, even though he don't have the best overall length, he's probably in the actual lead. The person in first place has only got 28 3/4 inch fish. One of those is his big fish. A couple 20 inchers on there. So anyway, that's kind of the gist of it. It's a lot. You got to catch a lot of fish, man, to sort through and get the size you need. It's pretty rare to just go out in one day and catch a bunch of them that's in the size class you need. Although, I mean, if you do get on these fish, they tend to travel in size groups, I feel like. So, for instance, sometimes if you're drifting, when I'm suspend drifting, I'll usually use 4 rods. And sometimes you might have 2, 3, 4 rods go down at once when you go through a school, or I think they more or less travel in packs, like 6 or 8 fish be all traveling together. And so you go through one of those pods or packs or schools, whatever you want to call them, and multiple rods goes down. And usually when that happens, most of them fish will be around comparable size to each other. So it is possible to knock out several fish in the size range you need on, a given day. But most of the time, in my experience doing these, you got to just catch a bunch of fish. It's a numbers game. The more fish you catch, the more likely you are to get fish that are in the size range that you need. And you do enough fish over the course of a month, you'll eventually sort through them. And he hit us, and now we're in a quandary. Like, should we reel that in to see if our bait's still on or leave it be? I just wish he'd come back for it. Just let us know we still got bait on there. The wind right now is kind of hitting us from this angle. It's going to make it a little bit of a challenge when we start to turn. We're going like around a river bend right now. We're about to. And the wind's almost kind of shifting and coming out of this creek. So it's going to be if it continues to do that, well, we may have to throw out a drift sock maybe. Right now the kayak's kind of wanting to turn into it, which is why we keep getting our line run over by the back end of the kayak back here. I'm gonna reel this thing in because I don't trust that there's bait on there. Well, we must have let out a half a mile of line on this one too. No, it's on there. All right. Well, let's start letting out some line. Yeah, the kayak's getting spun a little bit because it's hitting us from an angle here. That one was getting hit. It's getting hit again. Wind's gusting right now. I'm sitting here debating in my mind what I want us to do, y'all. I'm looking back in there at that creek and I'm just like, I feel like I'm almost being pulled into it by the wind, because the wind now, if it's shifted out of that creek, we could very easily control the kayak better and our speed better by going that direction and work our way up there shallow. But we come out here with a plan, and I don't know what's going on up there in the shallows. Gosh, do you want to do it? Do you want to call an audible? What have we got so far? 3 fish or so? Something like that? I kind of want to do it. I kind of want to. We're dropping off into that creek channel now, 29 feet. Let's turn. Let's turn. Let's turn and go up in there. Let's flip this bell over. We're calling an audible here, folks. Let's go fish shallow. Let's work our way back in this creek. We'll try to follow this creek channel best we can. It's not real defined on the map card. At least my map card is not. But we'll try to. And we'll just work up real shallow for a little while. I don't know this creek here. I don't know how far it goes back up in there. I don't know how long it's going to take us. But I kind of want to try it. We're going to venture off from our original plan, but I kind of wanted to see what's going on. We're in that old creek channel, though. You can see here, we're dropped off 36 feet deep in that old channel. So it was a creek channel that had some depth to it, obviously. And there's a couple fish down there in it, too. Right there. All right, well, if we got fish down in that creek channel, let's just work up in there and see if we can not catch a few of them. Sometimes I do these mind games with myself. Like, I come out with a plan. We were going to work this flat today because that's what was when I was last catching fish, that's what we were doing. This is the pattern that was working. And so it's like, I kind of want to stick with that. But we get out here and yeah, we're catching some fish, but they're not the quality that we want. Not the quality that I want anyway. So it's like we've done it for, what are we at, hour and a half. It's like maybe we should make a change. But in my mind, you second guess yourself because like there's so many days when you're ledge fishing and you just have nothing going on for a long period, and then boom, you get on the fish because they're constantly moving and roaming and stuff. Like they're going to be on the move, and you may be fishing the right place, but they're just not there at that particular time. But you keep covering water and going, you eventually run into them. And we could be about to run into some, but here we are turning and going up in here. But if it pays off for us, we'll run up here. We'll go ahead and fish our way back to, I don't know, 8 feet, 10 feet in that depth. We'll see how we do between here and 10 feet deep. We may go back further than that depending on if we're catching fish or not. If we ain't catching fish, we won't go any further back than that. And probably what I'll do too, if we work our way back in this creek and we don't catch nothing, I'll reel up and run us back out real quick instead of fishing our way back. Because there ain't no point in fishing our way back out if we didn't do any good on the way in. Sometimes you will catch fish going one way and not the other. I've had that happen before. But I like to, here's the example. Let's say we catch fish going into this creek. If that happens, we'll turn around, we'll fish our way back out. If we don't catch anything on the way back out, but we know them fish are there, and we were catching them going the other way, well, then it might be worth turning around and going back again. And that's usually, in situations like that, that's where I have found in the past where fish obviously prefer a bait moving one direction versus another, because you'll catch them going one way but not the other. But here's the part that is a struggle for me. Like, let's say we go into this creek and we don't do any good. It's real hard for me to waste the time dragging back out of that creek when we didn't catch anything on the way in it. Now, it could just be we drug by them the wrong direction, and coming back the other way would trigger a strike. But it's hard for me to want to figure that out when we didn't do any good to begin with. So probably just knowing myself, if we work back in here and I don't do any good, we'll reel up and come back out here to the channel. But I would like to know what's going on up here in the shallows. This time of year, you usually get some fish moving up into the shallows more frequently. Spring and fall is when you get your shallow movements more frequently. And that's true of all fish. That ain't just catfish. That's true of bass and crappie and striper, everything else. But we're in that time frame where there could be some fish moving up. And the other thing to consider is the fact that our water level has come up so high so quickly. Oftentimes when the water's high, fish will move shallow for that too, because they can get to areas they couldn't get to before. I'd feel better about it if we wasn't having the cold nights and cold mornings. Like, we had a frost warning this morning. We didn't have any frost at my house, but they had a frost warning out. When it drops down into the 30s, them shallows, they're gonna cool off several degrees. So that can move your fish, that can move your bait, which will move your predator fish. If it was consistently warm and warmer at night, I'd be more inclined to think that fish were up in there to stay, but or up in there, you know, more frequently during the daytime. But we ain't gonna know until we go try it out. So we're gonna go try it out. I'm still feeling lucky today, man. I feel like we got our bad luck out of the way when I got my lawnmower stuck. I was so mad. I was sitting there cussing. I knew as soon as I turned and I felt myself just sink down. Next time I'll know. If it's been raining recently, I hope I don't ever have to mow this girl's yard again. I hope she gets her mower fixed. But next time I'll know. It's just when you mow somewhere for the first time, like I would imagine, I've never been a landscaper. I mean, obviously I mow my own yard. But as far as like working for a landscaper company in professional services and whatnot, I'd never done anything like that before. But I was thinking about this on my ride around her yard there mowing today. I was like, I bet you them professional landscapers damage a lot of their gear going from yard to yard, like, because they get a new client, new customer, they're mowing for the first time. They don't know where stuff's at. They don't know where the rocks or the root system that sticks up out of the ground, stumps, things like that. Like, they don't know where those things are at. And they hit it and boom, they've tore something up. And they've got to work fast because, I mean, they got other jobs. They've got to get through a bunch of clients every day, especially this time of year when, hell, it rains all the time. Like, you got to work when you can. You got to do it quick. So I bet you they tear up a lot of stuff. I bet you it's a frustrating profession from the standpoint of having to fix and replace stuff all the time. On one hand, I mean, I like mowing. I enjoy it. But I don't know if I would enjoy it as much if I had to do it all the time. So on one hand, you think, like, well, I enjoy mowing. It'd be fun, like, get paid to go mowing. But then you think about, you got to risk your equipment going out there and mowing yards that you ain't familiar with. And you got to work out there in god-awful heat. I imagine with the number of jerks that have society has just developed. I mean, it's a nasty world anymore with human interactions, even if it's in person. Social media interaction's awful for sure, but in-person interaction anymore, people just don't treat each other with respect. And so I imagine when you are doing a landscaping job, and let's face it, I mean, poor people can't afford a landscaping service. Like them landscaping companies, they charge a lot of money even for a small yard. So the people who are most likely to hire a landscaping company are pretty highfalutin people in general. And I imagine the landscaping crews having to interact with those people, especially if they're a little bit snooty and think they're better than somebody. I could see that being problematic. You know what I mean? Like, there's oftentimes a sense of entitlement in them jobs like that. Like, the person's paying the landscaping crew, so even though that homeowner's not the boss, they're going to think they're the boss and talk like they're the boss. I could see that kind of thing happening. So you maybe run over some flowers, or you dig a rut in somebody's yard, turning a zero turn too quick or something like that, and people out there griping and complaining. I can only imagine. I did see I think the guy has a YouTube channel, but I didn't see him on YouTube. I think I watched a Facebook or Instagram video. But there was a guy, and he built a channel on mowing yards, but he wouldn't, I think maybe he had a mowing business, but he would film himself going and mowing yards of people who just needed their property cleaned up. Like he wasn't doing that for money. I think he had a landscaping business he was doing for money, and obviously his YouTube channel or videos or whatever probably monetized. I'm sure he's making money off that, but like he would find some rundown yard and go fix it, mow it, weed eat it, get it looking good again, and film a video on it. And I remember watching that and thinking, what a concept. I mean, like you can literally film anything. And I don't know how big his audience is for that, but hell, I watched it. I watched one anyway. I'm not going back and watching. I'm not watching him mow 100 yards, but hell, I watched him once. Like there's an audience for everything. There might be an audience to watch us catch catfish today if we could actually catch one. We're working our way back in here in this creek, and I'm following the channel. It looks like I'm going over here this direction, and I am, but it's because this creek channel it goes, apparently goes this way and then loops back up in there. So that's what we're doing here, but we really just ain't really seeing nothing now. We were seeing fish out there kind of toward the end, but up in here, we ain't really seeing nothing. We'll go a little bit further up here. 24 feet, I'm getting indecisive again because we've made it this far and ain't got a bite. We will definitely be more protected from the wind the further we get up in there. That would be good as far as controlling our speed and just getting me out of the wind too, man. My head right now, y'all, is peeling. I got burnt twice. One day I got burnt with my hat on because my hat got that mesh backing. So I was home, I bent over for something. My girlfriend's like, what the hell's wrong with your head? I'm like, what are you talking about? She took a picture. Is that rod right there got hit? Finally had a little life there. And she's like, what's wrong with your head? What are you talking about? She took a picture. And I had a damn sunburn. It was made like an X, like that. This fish here don't want me showing you. Is he still on there? I think he's after it again. Let me hold it here a second. I think he just hit it again. Y'all tell that fish to bite. He just did. He just did. Y'all told him, he listened. It's going to be another one we don't want to catch though, but we might as well reel him all the way in because I know we're going to need to put a new bait on there. It's going to be a dinkity-doo-dah, man. Yeah, way too small for us to even want to measure. But it's a bite. It gives me a little hope we might catch something in this creek. Y'all be careful getting this thing unhooked. Look where that hook's coming out at. Right through the bottom lip, right there where the finger is. Thank you for being calm, Blue Cat. That way I didn't get stuck. I didn't want my finger getting stuck like my lawnmower did in the mud earlier. And yeah, there's that piece of the bigger shad there from that head bait we put on. All right. Yeah, let's cut up a little bit bigger piece this time. The encouraging thing is, we got another fish. The discouraging thing is, it's the same size as what we've been getting. Not very big. All right, out it goes. But yeah, my head got burnt, y'all. And I had a damn, like, X from my my hat line there. And so she's making fun of me because, you know, she ain't gonna cut me no slack. And then when I was out doing my yard work and stuff, I got burned again. My whole head, I wasn't wearing a hat. So my whole head got burnt, so now I'm peeling. When I get out of the shower, the skin's tight. Feels like I can't move my scalp, and then the skin starts breaking and flaking off. So it'd be nice if we got out of this wind a little bit so I don't get no wind burn to go along with my sunburn. This time of year, the wind just blows and blows and blows every year. March and April, it's just relentless here where I live. You can go out in the mornings and it's usually calm, but lately it's been cold in the mornings and I don't want to get up early and go freeze when I know it's going to be 65, 70 degrees in the afternoons. I'm a pansy in the cold, man. I don't like being cold. I don't care if it's wintertime, summertime. It don't matter. I don't want to be cold ever. I'd like to just go to Florida all winter long and not come back here till it's warm. One of these days, I may make that a reality. All right, let's flip over our bail on that one. We're back on the move with two baits again. Oh. Maybe that one will be a little bigger. All right, y'all. This one here is a little bigger, I think. At least bigger than the ones we've been getting. All right. I'm more encouraged about this creek by the second. I wonder if he ain't wrapped up in that line. Because I feel like I'm just kind of pulling him toward us. He's on there for sure. I feel like I'm just pulling him toward us right now. He's not even fighting. Sometimes they get wrapped up in that line and it creates like a tension on them, like a constriction, and they just stop fighting. There he goes. And then you release that tension on them, you get them out of that line, and then they go crazy. Yeah, he may be a little bigger than the others, but not by much. He'll at least be one we throw on our measuring board. We'll at least see where he's at lengthwise. He's left our big shad head on there too. We'll take a look at it. We may end up switching it out anyway. Come on up in here, fish. I'm gonna throw you on that board. You got a little length to you. I'd like to go ahead and switch that head out. Here, fish, let's just, will you behave long enough for me to put you on a board? Just take a peek. Yeah, we may go ahead and, here, he's flaring his pectoral fins out right there. They'll do that and that'll keep their head from going flat on the board, and it makes it tough to get the full length out of him. So there's his head on the board. I think he'll graze that 29.5-inch mark. That's perfect. Well, almost perfect anyway. So I got to put my tournament identifier on him, and we got to take a picture with a date, time, and GPS stamp. Just make sure his head's on the board. All right. Let me get that. There we go. Bear with me a second here, folks, while I take a picture. 3. All right. 29.5 inches. Nice. We need 8 more like that over the course of the month. Thank you, Blue Cat. You were worth coming up in this creek for. Tell these people hi and bye. There he goes. All right, folks. Hey, you know what? You know what we'll do? We'll fist pump that one. He ain't big enough for a fist pump, but because we're in this dang tournament, he is big enough for a fist pump. All right. Let's see. Do we have any more big ones in there? We still got that head on, but I like these shad. I do got a bluegill. I think I got 2 bluegill with us. Yeah, I do. We could try those at some point too. A little bit more confident in the shad than I am the bluegill. We may try some bluegill today at some point though. Yeah, that fish right there is worth coming up into this creek for right there. I will gladly, if we're going to catch small fish, I'd like for them to be just under the 30-inch mark. I'll show you here in a minute. We get this bait going back out and get situated. I'll show you how we submit them fish in case you're interested. These slot tournaments, you don't have to be in a kayak. You can be in bank fisherman, you can be in a boat. It don't matter. You can, however you fish, you can enter. Big thing is you just can't do no pay legs, and we don't allow that in our world. We don't condone that kind of thing. Get my hands dried off here so I can operate my telephone. All right, so I'm gonna go back into the app. All right, so what you're gonna do, once you're in your app here, and I hope you can see this with the glare, who knows, but we're gonna hit submit catch. And it'll pop up here on your thing, just hit OK. So it has a drop-down box for type of fish. That was a blue cat there. You can pick a blue, channel, flathead, whatever you got. You're going to type in your length, 29.5. And then it's got your GPS location here where you're at. And of course, your picture itself is going to have date and timestamp, GPS, and all that. So I'm going to hit add photo. I'm going to turn the thing away here for a second in case there's some photos on there you ain't supposed to see that pop up. And all right, so now I've put our photo. I clicked on, it brings up all your photos, and you just click on that. Everything looks good. So now we're going to hit submit. We got pretty good cell service here, so there it goes. Here in a minute, an email will pop up saying our fish has been submitted, and the scoreboard will update. There it is. Fishing Chaos Tournaments, your entry receipt. We click on down here. It should update here momentarily. There it goes. Updated our score. Now, you see my score's gray. These others are green. That's because my fish has to be looked at by the tournament judge. And once everything looks good, make sure my identifier's on there, the fish is on the board, nose touching the bump, left eye up, all that nonsense. It gets approved, and yada, yada, yada. But our fish there look good. We won't have any issues. So, all right. Need 8 more, y'all. Need 8 more of them. All right. That makes me happy. You know, even if we don't get another bite the rest of the day, I certainly hope we do, but even if we don't, the day's not a complete loss. And we'll get back there and get home tonight having 1 more fish on our score. I'm going to try to get us turned here. We got to work. We're coming up on here. You see how we're about to turn in this creek, how it's turning. There's a point here it comes out, a little bit farther drop. I want to just follow that original creek channel. I want to follow it up in here. I want to follow the original creek bed. Oh, 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 oh. That was a little better takedown there. Oh my gosh, he's gone. Oh my gosh. That one hit it a little harder, but didn't stay buttoned up. What's our bait look like? Looks okay. Just didn't work out for us that time. That might have been another 29.5-inch fish. Could have been just what we needed. Y'all botched it. You let him come off. Dadgummit. I don't know what went wrong with that. It happens. Sometimes they'll short strike it and not get the hook. They'll clamp down on that bait. I've had fish that I have fought while suspend fishing. I've fought them all the way up the surface. And you get them up to the side of the kayak, see the fish, and then they let go. Like you can see, like they just clamp down on the bait but never had the hook. Like it happens. I don't know if it's intentional on their part or if they just, this bait's pulling along and they're trying to capture it and they just get whatever they can get and don't fully inhale it, you know. I don't know. But some days, though, it seems like when that happens, it happens multiple times. Like it's a common thing. Like it's just fish. Maybe they're not. Like, I mean, today, obviously, I think the fish we're getting in front of are pretty active. But some days it just seems like they're just nipping. They're not really committing. That fish there he bit it pretty hard, though. I mean, he took it over pretty hard. I guess this creek here it looks like it kind of splits. Like there's another creek bed there. I know we want to go that direction, but I don't know which one of them it is there on the screen until we get up here, I guess. When we're working back in these creeks, I like to follow especially if it's not a very wide creek, I want to follow that old creek bed. Because I feel like that's the path that the catfish, as they move up, working their way back, that's the path that they're going to follow. Let's flip that bail over again. There's a little something right here too. The big thing with doing these creeks, at least here where I'm at today anyway, there's a lot of brush piles in these creeks where I think crappie fishermen set them out, and you drag through them things, man. You're begging to get snagged. I don't care what kind of dragging rig you use, none of them pull through wood very well. These inline dragging sinkers, I've been using them for a couple months now. I bought some just to try them out. I was very intrigued by them. And the first month I used them, I was digging them, man. Like, I wasn't having any issues. I wasn't getting no snags. Hadn't had any problems. And then I'll be damned if I didn't lose 3 of them in 2 trips. And usually when you get a snag on a dragging rig, it's not your sinker that gets hung up, it's your hook. You pull through some brush pile or sunken tree or whatever, your hook buries into the wood, and now your rig's hung up. Now, most guys who drag just break off, especially the planer board fishermen. When you're running that many rods and planer boards and all that, you got your whole spread out. You can't reel all them things in and go back for one rod, try to break one rig free. Like, you just can't do it, so they just break off. With me only running 2 rods, it's not a big deal to reel in the other rod and go back and try to pull the rig free. Plus, I'm cheap, and these rigs are expensive. I mean, the sinkers I make myself, they're not too bad. I can make them for a couple bucks. These here, these inline ones, are over $5 a piece, plus the cost of your hook, your float, your rattle, your swivel, all that. So you got a few dollars tied up in these things. I want to try to get them back if I can. Well, one thing I've noticed in the 3 rigs that I have lost so far on these inline setups is it seems like when you get one of these inline dragging rigs hung in some debris down there, we about hung one in a fish's mouth. He tugged on it. I'll leave it be. He didn't tug it hard. But when you get hung with one of the inline dragging rigs, you can't get it back out. Whereas I think with my other sinkers, for instance, that I make myself, they're a little heavier and they're on a 3-way. So when your hook gets buried in the wood and you get over there on top of it, and you're sitting there, he got it thin. He got it thin. Now he's going to take some drag too, ain't he? Just a little bit of drag, but he took it. That's another one there. It might be just a little bit better quality. All right, folks. We're making our way back. We're 24 feet deep here. We're working our way up through here, and the quality's getting a little better. So maybe we're on the right track. I hope this is another one. He ain't gonna be no monster, so I'm hoping he's about 29 3/4 inches. That's what I'm hoping for. He's definitely bigger than some of them small dinks we were getting there to start the trip. Yeah, we will throw him on the board. We will measure him. Tell you what, fish, he looks like he's hooked pretty good. Let's leave him be a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and get our next bait ready, and we'll try to work as efficiently as we can here. We'll try to be letting out some line with the next bait while we measure him. That one feels kind of soft. Let me get, that one feels better. I don't like them shad that are mushy. They gonna, for dang sure, the soft mushy ones are gonna get ripped off. We may end up here before long just putting on, I like to give them options, have a head bait and a chunk, but them chunks are so small right now. We may end up just putting on more, two kind of head baits and do half a shad basically. Come here, fish. Get all that slime off that line too while you at it. He ain't gonna be over 30 inches, but I don't know if he's gonna be close to what we need or not. It's worth a shot to measure him. Ow. He got some strong jaws. He bit down on me. We'd have that hook out if you'd open up, fish. Help me to help you, good buddy. All right, well, you just sit there and act that way then. You show out. He's upset. He's mainly upset with you. I've never done anything wrong to him in my life. It wasn't me that stuck him with this hook. I told him it was you. Now he's gonna take it out on you too. Okay. Get our line undone there. Lord Almighty, there we go. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Get your board out. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, no. We about to lose him overboard is what we about to do. Come here. Act like somebody. That's the thing with these small fish, man. They want to flop around. The big ones don't really do that. You put a big one on the board, and they're pretty cooperative. Out in there, he's 27 1/4. So we're not going to fool with him. There you go, buddy. Get him on out of here. Okay. Well, he was close, but not close enough. Danged old fish. Bit down on my thumb hard, too. Them blues, buddy, they got some powerful jaws. Even the small ones, like they can clamp down on you. Yeah, we're gonna try to work up through here. It looks like we're gonna work right up by that island, maybe. Maybe that ain't an island, I don't know. We're trying to follow that channel right there. We may have to end up cutting across. I don't know. I ain't worked this creek before, so we're in this together here. We'll just figure it out as we go. All right, I'll flip that bail over. But yeah, like I was saying, with these inline dragging rigs, when you get them snagged and you're sitting there and you're trying to pull it free while your hook's buried in a piece of wood, you basically you're digging your hook in deeper to the wood when you pull on it. Whereas when you've got a three-way rig, and my other sinkers are heavier certainly, that sinker on the three-way rig is dangling. So your hook is buried on your leader line, but your sinker it's clipped onto the three-way. So when you're sitting there jerking and pulling on it, your heavy sinker is banging around on that leader line, and it can sometimes knock it free. It'll knock your hook free sometimes. So I think from a perspective of getting rigs that are snagged, getting them back, I think and I ain't telling you to, like, buy my sinkers that I make per se. I've got an instruction manual down the video description. You will learn how to do it. Step-by-step pictures and all that's easy to do. But any type of three-way rig, whatever type of dragging sinker that you choose to use, I think is going to give you a better chance of knocking your rigs free if you're the type to go back and get them. And me, like, I'm going to. I mean, if all I got to do is reel in one line and go back and try to get it, like, I'm going to try to save a few dollars and get my rig back. So, to each their own. Y'all, I think we've took a wrong turn in Albuquerque. This just runs up to the land right here. We've took a wrong turn. We're going to have to just cut across this point right here, if we can. We're going to cut across this point and get back up in. I don't know where the hell we went wrong. I was following y'all, but it worked. We got 2 fish out of it. But we've definitely took a wrong turn here. We'll cut across this point. And I think the channel we need to be in is on the other side of it over here, which is off the screen right now. We're going to be cutting up a pretty significant incline here, so this will be another opportunity for us to get snagged. That'll sometimes happen when you're going up seems like when you're dragging up a real steep incline, you get snagged a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, these inline dragging sinkers, I like them. I like the fact that they store compactly. They're only 2 ounces, but they've done well. I don't think they create a big disturbance down there on the water, which you can have a debate whether or not that's necessary. My argument for heavier sinker would be that they do stir up more mud as you pull along, so it looks like a carp feeding or a sucker or something like that feeding down there. These lighter weight ones won't do that. The counter argument is these lighter weight sinkers don't stir up the bottom. And so when your bait comes along, there's nothing necessarily as unnatural about it as what a heavier sinker, the disturbance it would create. So you can make an argument for or against. I've certainly caught a bunch of fish with the sinkers that I use that are heavier, and now in the last couple months I've caught a bunch of fish with these lighter weight sinkers that are inline. So I don't think it matters really either way. You're going to catch fish regardless. It's just a matter of which do you personally prefer, and there's pros and cons to each. I mean, these, like I said, they store compactly. So I can, like here in my hatch, I keep these things, I keep my rigs ready to go. So like, for instance, here's one that's got my sinker, my rig. Like, if we break off today, all I got to do is tie 1 knot and we're good to go. Like, that's nice. Whereas the other type of sinkers on a 3-way, you're going to have to bust out a rig, tie it on, get your sinker, clip it on. When you're done fishing at the end of the day, you're going to have to unclip your sinker. So it's pros and cons to each. But they both work. I mean, they both catch fish, and that's what's most important. So it just comes down to your personal preference. What do you prefer? I'm going to use these inline ones until I lose them all. I bought 8 of them, I think. Yeah, I bought 8. I had 5 left coming into today. So I'm going to burn through these, see how long that takes. I could have just been having some bad luck. You know, like that happens. I lost 2 in that one trip on video, and I'd lost 1 down there on tournament day on Alabama. So we may go another 3 months and not lose another one too, possibly. That's how it goes sometimes. I don't care what kind of rig you use. Nothing is 100%. Like, you're going to lose some rig. If you drag, you going through these creeks and down the river channel, through these brush piles and down trees, like, you're going to lose some rigs. It's just inevitable. It's not if, it's when. And I don't care what kind of rig you use. None of them are 100% snag free. But some rigs certainly do snag more than others. And what you don't want to do is be spending all your time either breaking off or going back and getting your lines, because that's just inefficient. You need something that pulls through pretty good. And both the sinkers that I make and these both do a good job overall. It's just, based on my experience with these thus far, I don't think it's as easy to get your rig free. But I'm kind of, at least with the people I know of anyway, I'm kind of unusual in that I go back for them. Like everybody I know that drags baits does so with planer boards. So they just can't go back. It's just too time consuming. It takes so long to get all of your boards and other rods out. Like, they just can't do that. They can't go back for one rig. So they just break off. So it don't matter to them. But if you're like me, you're a penny pincher, it matters. I want every single rig back if I can get it. Yeah, we're coming right across the top of here right now. You can see this point comes out, and we're just going to cut across, and we'll find this old creek channel over here eventually. Well, we just taken a detour. We took the scenic route. I saw 2 boats up in here too. I hope they're not back here. I don't want to interact with anybody. It's probably crappie fishermen. Been a lot of crappie fishermen in the shallows lately. The water temp's certainly right for them to move up, so I ain't done no crappie fishing this year. Oh, look right here. No, he's gone. Is he back on it? Okay, he's got it now. We're 4 feet deep right here, folks. That's definitely an encouraging sign if we're getting a fish 4 feet deep. Our bait may not have been 4 feet deep. When we're up here on this point right now, 4 feet where we're at, so it may have still been off the side possibly. Either way, it's another bite here in this creek. It's gonna be another small one though. Oh, dadgummit, he got our other line too. Look at him. What'd you get our other line for? What'd you do that for? Don't you dare start spinning and rolling. You're gonna get wrapped up in it. How's he hooked? Is he barely hooked right there? I can't see. What if we can just pop that thing? I guess that'd be too good to be true. You hooked just good enough there, fish. Boy, look at that. He got all wrapped up in that other line. What'd y'all let him do that for? Yeah, he's too short to fool with measuring. Let's let our other line go back out over there. Lordy days, y'all. I can't take y'all nowhere without getting entangled. see if we can get another. I kind of want to try one of these bluegill in here. Let's try a bluegill. Midsection of bluegill. We got 2 bluegill we can work with. Let's just see what happens with it. We'll save that head just in case. I'll take my scissors and cut off a little fin right there. All right. Run that through. All right, well, let's see if we can get this mess on the other rod. There we go. Yeah, it was just tangled up there on the back. We're good. All right, we're coming off this point now. I'll show you here on the map. There's one of them boats up there, dadgummit. Y'all know I don't like talking around people on these cameras. I hope this creek channel runs over to the left. Come across that point. We're going over here. I think our creek bed's all the way across over here, maybe. Where we want to go, anyhow. We just got off course somehow or another, y'all. I took a left in Albuquerque, and we should have kept going straight, I guess. I don't know. All's well in the end. Hell, we've caught 3 fish, even though I got off course, so. Now the wind has shifted again. It's pushing us to the side here. I got half a mind to put out that drift sock, but sure as I do, we'll get a fish hung up in it too. I don't know how far back this particular creek goes. And people over there in that boat, though, they're fishing over there along the bank around one of them docks, so I bet you they're crappie fishing. I ain't done none of that yet. I ain't done no ultralight fishing in a while, other than just taking it out and when I'm cast netting to make a few casts here and there and try to get some bluegill or something. But it's been so windy lately, I can't make a full dedicated ultralight trip. Because it's just, you just can't fish long enough in a wind protected area or not have any wind at all. It's just been too much. So I'm hoping to do it again soon. I've had a hankering to go ultralight fishing. Y'all know I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. Especially this time of year, because you never know what you're going to get. You might get crappie, yellow bass, white bass, bluegill, largemouth. You can get a little bit of everything. It's just fun. It's a fun way to fish. Simple tackle. I love it. But it's hard to do in the wind. If you got a lot of wind blowing, you just can't feel them bites. One thing about doing catfishing, even if the wind is up, like when a catfish hits your bait, you pretty well know it. They're going to hit it and run. Blues will anyway. Flatheads will hit it and sit there with it, of course, sometimes. But and I've wondered too, like we were talking earlier about the flatheads not biting on the dragging rigs. I've often wondered if they do bite, and we just got so much line out. If they hit the bait and are matching your speed and just kind of holding it in their mouth, you wouldn't even know they were on. I wouldn't know they were on until they started to run with it. And oftentimes, like when I'm suspending baits, I've got, Lord, how many videos on my channel demonstrating what I'm about to explain. Like a flathead, you'll see your rod tip go kabonk, and there'll be just a little bit of weight on it. It'll just be sitting there. And sometimes them flatheads will sit there for several minutes just holding that bait in their mouth. This one's going to hold it in his mouth and run. If he's on there, we don't want him. Yeah, he's on there. That's on that bluegill. I got them 2 bluegill. When I went out on the cast net day, I took my ultralight, was making a few casts best I could back in them creeks where I'd get in part of it there where the wind wasn't blowing, make a few casts, but I wasn't catching much. I just got them 2. I got them 2 bluegill that's in there, and I got a couple more that was real small that I didn't want to fool with. I honestly didn't want to fool with these because they're not very big, but I thought just for variety's sake, I'll throw them in there. And we got something on it right here. You know, he's bigger than I thought. This is one we're going to throw on our board too. He's bigger than I thought he was when he first hit it. Come up here, fish. I'm going to put you on that board whether you want to or not. He's actually pretty calm right now. He must want to be on that board. He wants to find out how big he is today. Well, give me that hook back first. Okay, there you go. Listen at him talking to you. He's got a lot to say. All right, let's see what we got with him. He's definitely longer than I thought. Boy, looky here, folks. He's over 29. Yes, all right. Let's get our tournament identifier. Let's get our phone out here and get it ready to go. All right, let's get everything. Let's see what we can do there. Get his tail flat, his head's against the board. I usually take 2 or 3 pictures. All right, 29 inches. He's just over 29 and under 29 and a quarter there. And we're catching the break than people over there fishing's pulling out of here. Even better. I told you, man, today, thank you, Blue Cat. I knew when I got out here on the water, I was just like, the bad Judy's off of me. Once I got the mower unstuck, I was like, and of course forgot my camera bag there at home, but I was like, man, today's just going to turn around. Today's going to be better. Let's take this other bluegill. Let's try it too. I'm not usually a big fan of bluegill for catfish bait, but it will catch fish. We will, once again, we'll save the bluegill heads here, although I'm cutting off most of the meat behind it just because of the size of the bluegill. Like I said, I really didn't want to keep them bluegill because they weren't really big enough to want to fool with, but thankfully I did. Got us another fish over 29 inches there. So now we need 7 more. We'll keep grinding away at it. Oh, there we go, there we go. Here, let's start letting that line on that one while we reel this one in. Been a while since this rod got hit. All right, man. Y'all, good luck today. I should have brought y'all with me while I was mowing earlier, and maybe I wouldn't have got stuck if I'd had your good luck with me then. One of y'all needs to come fix my neighbor's lawnmower. She says it's apparently an older mower, but it was her dad's, and her dad died, and I guess she's sentimental to it. So she wants somebody to fix it. I sure as hell can't. I can't work with tools, you know. You don't want me fixing nothing. I'll make it worse if I even attempted. I wouldn't even be able to figure out what was wrong with it anyhow. Let's see what we got here with this. He's gonna be too short. We ain't gonna fool with measuring him. But we've already got our line going out over here on the other one. So we're working efficiently. It's definitely seeming like the more we're working through here in the shallows, the more we're getting bit. Definitely doing better than what we was out on the edge of the flat. So I'm more encouraged the further we make our way up through here. There we go. Yeah, I ain't measuring you fish because I know you ain't close enough to what we need. Okay. I wish we just had some bigger shad. Just slightly bigger. Instead of these 5-6 inch, I wish we had more 7, 8, 9 inch range. But they working. Let's flip the bail over on that one. Actually, I think I need to let out more line on that. Another shad on. All right. Onward we go. Oh, hell. We need to turn. We're about to go beyond this. We're about to do it again. I need one of y'all to drive while I fish, or let me drive while you fish. One of the two. It don't matter to me. Y'all can reel them in if you want to. But one of us got to keep our eye on the road here if we're going to eventually get back in this creek. And I think we want to go back in this creek based on what we're seeing thus far. All right. You want to go ahead and submit that fish, see what our score is now. So let's go submit catch. It'll be 29 inches. We round down to the nearest 1/4 inch. Let me hit the add photo thing here because I don't think I have anything on there that's not for your eyes, but you never know. Yeah, looks good. Submit. Uploaded 100%. We'll get an email here momentarily. And our score will change right here from 59 up to 88. All right. Just jumped up to 6th place here, folks. We just got to get us about 7 more of them, and we're going to be in good shape for this tournament. All right, I went ahead and flipped that bail over. We'll run one farther back and that one there a little closer to us. I'll tell you what I did see though, when I was seeing my picture up here. Let me show you the mower here. I took a picture of it. So I was going to send it to that girl and, apologize because I dug up her yard there. So I'd come down her driveway right here, and I went to turn. You can see how high that grass is. I couldn't see that it was a swamp. And as soon as I got in it, man, I couldn't get out. You can see I was just digging up mud. And the way the bottom of the mower is, like it was like down in that swampy area too, because it would have been easiest for me to bring a truck up here and pull it backwards, right? Pull it that way. But I couldn't do that because I couldn't attach the chain anywhere down here. I couldn't get to it. So I had to go up in her yard here and attach the chain to the front and pull it out that way. What a mess. What a mess that was today. So I apologize to her messing up her yard. I messed it up right there, obviously where the mower was stuck. And then my truck too kind of put some ruts there in her yard too. But hell, I didn't know it was a damn swamp until I got in it. One of them things, you know, the grass was so high. So I told her I'd try again. It dries out. You know, I hope her husband will get down there and weed eat that. That's what I'm hoping, but if he don't, I'll probably go down there and weed eat it, and when it dries out, I can mow it down then. Hopefully she'll get that mower fixed though, or get her a new one. Oh, something's busting up there. Did you see that? I don't know, they gone now. Something was up there on the surface, about 100 yards ahead of us. I didn't bring a skipjack rod or nothing, so if we see them, we just out of luck. We'd know where to come for them though, by God. I ain't seen them nowhere else. They should be, it's time of year, them skipjacks should be making their run upriver. So you should start seeing them at the dams, because in the spring they go up to spawn and they'll run upriver, and of course if you've got a dam, they'll get stopped there at the dam. If you don't have a dam, they'll just keep going upriver till they find a shoal or something to nest on. But it's the time of year is right for them to be on the move. I just ain't had no luck for them lately. And here's the other thing. We've been doing so good on the catfish with shad, and I typically do in the colder months up until shad is usually a bait for me, definitely when the water temp's in the 40s, but up through the low 50s, I do pretty good with it. I mean, you can catch fish on shad year round, but it's definitely a better bait in the cooler water. And you know, we've just this past week got water temps as high as they've been, and as we're moving along here, look, as we're up to 66 degrees here as we're making our way back in this creek, and there's a couple fish right there. We finally found the right creek channel. That's the one. I'm confident this is the one that we need to follow here on the map now. But our detour got us some extra fish, so it was worthwhile. Sometimes taking detours on them back roads will pay off for you folks. You don't want to take a detour through a swamp on your lawnmower though. You get stuck. All works out in the end though. I've done a good deed. Kind of, I guess, paying it back, I guess, because, well, not this girl, but the house in front of me, I've had 3 different neighbors now. Well, if you count the people that rented from the last girl there, technically more, but there's been 3 different owners of the house that's directly in front of me. And when I first moved in, I bought the house in 2006. The fella that lived there, he was a real nice guy, him and his wife, and they had some dogs and real nice people. Back then, I had it was a Sears Craftsman lawnmower, old mower. And I ran that thing until it just wouldn't run anymore, but I tore it up. It wasn't functioning, and my yard was getting high, and that fella come up there and mowed my yard while I was out of commission with the mower. Now, it was real nice. He didn't have to do that, and I certainly didn't ask him to. But he saw my yard was getting tall, and I mentioned there that my mower was on the fritz, and he just come up there and done it. I come home one day, he had mowed my yard. I thought that's real nice, you know. You don't get a lot of people like that, and of course this was many years ago, but still, you don't get a lot of people like that in this modern generation. It's just going to voluntarily help somebody out because they see something needs to be done. It's usually, if somebody's going to offer up charity, it's got to be asked for. But they were good people and just come and done it, you know. And so I guess me kind of helping this girl out, kind of paying it forward, I reckon. I do wish we could have got out in the water a little earlier today, though. I hate that it took me as long as it did. We lost some daylight. We still got, what time is it now? It's 5:58, so we got probably another hour or so. We've got about another fish right here working it too, don't we? Come on, fish, come back for it. That's that piece of bluegill on there. I'm not going to worry about it getting ripped off. It is a little bit tougher than the shad. I'm pretty sure it's still on there. As we've got up here in this creek too, just like I'd hoped, we're more shielded from the wind here, so we can maintain our speed and our boat control a little better. Now that we're in the actual creek channel, and it's deep too, look at this, we're 25 feet deep here, folks. It's a fairly deep channel right here. But I'm still gonna work it. We'll work it all the way back, and since we caught them other fish up shallow, oh, that one's on. He was on. Now this one I do want to check because it's that shad head and it's a small one, and we'll give it a second here, see if it comes back for it before we reel it in. Dang. But I do, on this creek now, as we work our way back in here, I definitely want to go all the way back since we were catching fish. Yeah, I'm glad I checked it. He ripped us off. But we were catching fish just a few feet deep, cutting across that area we had to go across to get over here to this. So I definitely want to see what's going on in the back of this creek as we get shallower and shallower. These shad they just tear so easy. Oh, we had one working that one piece too. Coming through some fish apparently, or it's the same fish. They just hit our other bait. Thought he'd come get him another one. You tell these fish we've done all the charity work we're gonna do today. We ain't giving out free meals around here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to steer us a little bit here to the left, or else I'm gonna run us up shallow. Still got my course heading on, but I'm just kind of adjusting it as need be as we work our way up in here. This creek channel's deeper than I thought it would be, though. I didn't think it would be 25 feet deep, but there's some more fish right there on the bottom, so there's some stuff in here. This is a good move coming up in here, I feel like. Not that we wouldn't have caught more fish doing what we were doing, or we might have went out on the bottom edge of the channel and caught some fish there possibly. But compared to how we were doing versus how we've been doing here the last half hour that we've got further back up in here, I think that one might, or so I thought. I thought that one had it. But we've definitely done better as we've made our way up through here. So it was a good move doing this. Well, hindsight's 20/20, as the saying goes. I could have made an argument either way. Stay doing what we were doing, go out and fish deeper, move up here. Sometimes catching fish can be a detriment, honestly. Because like what we were doing out there, we were getting some bites. And I think sometimes you can get just enough bites to trick you into thinking you're doing the right thing or you're in the right place. When in reality, if you made one small adjustment, you might get a lot more bites or a lot more bigger fish. But you keep doing what you're doing because it's working. There's something busting on the left over there. There's something in here. I don't know if it's skipjack or white bass. There's something periodically chasing these shad. There's something after them. There's a school of something too, right there. Let me see if I got that picture of my head. I oughtn't even show you this. Y'all make fun of me about this. Yeah, there it is. For those of you that stuck around, here's you some entertainment. There's my head with the stripe from my hat. You see where my head had got burnt there on the mesh, and I got that, basically an X on my head right there. My girlfriend's like, what is that on your head? The first sun of the year is what that is. Got to protect your head too, folks. That woman up there she's talking up there. We can hear everything she says. I think she's on the phone with somebody. She must have went inside. Or she heard that I was listening and then stopped talking. I don't like talking on camera around people. Like, even out here, you don't know if anybody's out on these docks or not. They might not be anybody out here, but just the thought that they could be messes with my mind. There's some other fella up there. But that woman, I could hear her good. Voices carry, especially if you're talking into the wind. So we might be do some eavesdropping as we get on up in here into civilization. We might be able to hear full conversations that's going on. Might be able to hear some arguments, possibly. We got some domestic issues happening. That's a pretty good argument the other night. I watched our county commission where I live. They live stream the commission meetings. And it was a pretty good, there's some shad flipping in front of us. It was a pretty good arguments happening on it. People's pissed off at our county commission where I live because they raised our property taxes back a few months ago to pay for a school that quite honestly nobody wants. Now when they was going to vote in this tax increase for the school, a bunch of people showed up to the commission meeting. Everybody down there voicing their opinion. mostly, you know, and I think there was one person that spoke out for the school, and he works for the school system, so obviously a little bias there. But everybody else was pissed off that this $115 million tax increase, which it worked out, I think it was like 17% increase we all had on our property taxes for them to cover this $115 million debt that they needed for the school system, or new school building. But most people that went down there was, oh crap, there's a fish hit, and we'd forgot to flip that bail over, but he's on there. I'm glad that fish hit. I forgot to flip that bail over, and my line just started peeling off there. Did he come off? Y'all let me forget to flip the bail over. We could have lost all our line. Yeah, he come off. Dadgummit. All right, let's try that again. This time, don't let me forget to flip that bail over. You know how I am. I get to talking, I'll forget. I've lost all my line off a reel before doing that. But the people that spoke out in opposition of this tax increase were, for the most part, they were more well-spoken and polished and professional than what I feel about it, because I don't want it. I don't want the school that's going in right up the road from me. So in addition to property taxes going up, we're going to have to deal with a bunch more traffic, not only from the construction of when the school's being built, of course, when it's in session and functioning, it's going to be a nightmare. So I don't want this damn school. Don't want the tax increase. But most people were pretty polite about it, and most of them were level-headed enough to say, hey, this is all being rushed through. Can we do a study? Can we have an independent study done before you all vote to build this school, and just make sure that it's needed? My county is the fastest growing, or second fastest growing county in Tennessee, according to whoever the news gets their statistics from. So we've got a lot of people moving in my area, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all of those people moving here are going to be bringing children with them. In fact, most of the people that I've seen are more like retiring people from up north. And we got a lot of people from California too, surprisingly, that have come here. But it's like people that are retirement age, like they can take the money that they have and the equity in their home in whatever state that they've lived in, and move down here and be able to retire, because cost of living is cheaper. At least it was until they all started moving here. And so a lot of these people that have already moved here and that are in the process of moving here, they're not bringing kids with them. It's older people. So we don't know that we need this. They're building this school for the future, they say, the future growth, but we don't know that that's needed. So most people were just like, let's have an independent study done to just, before you spend $115 million of tax dollars that's coming off our property taxes, before you do that, before you cause a hardship to everybody that lives in my area by increasing the traffic, which has already been a nightmare as more people have moved to town, before you do that, just make sure that we need the school. And these county commissioners were so adamant, man. They pushed this thing through just as quick as they could. And people have still been pissed off about it, especially as more and more numbers have come out and kind of proving what we all thought, that we don't really need this school. And so anyway, county commission meeting. It's live streamed on YouTube. And boy, some people were pissed. And they're still, I mean, this is months ago that they've increased our taxes. We've already had our tax increase. I mean, we got our bills there. I can't remember. It comes in like October, November. I think we get our bill, and then we've got till February to pay it. And I've already paid it, obviously. But yeah, man, they were just, people still fired up at it. I mean, listen, I don't like it either. I don't care about the tax increase as much. I mean, I do. I don't want to ever pay more in taxes. But what pisses me off the most is where the location of the school is. Like, it's a terrible location. That road is already so busy with traffic, especially if you're going out first thing in the morning or afternoon hours right there, right when school's getting in and letting out. Traffic's a mess through there. And now you just got to compound it. And it's just, that's why we've been thinking about moving. Me and my girlfriend, we've been thinking about, we actually looked at a house recently in Rockwood, Tennessee, because Rockwood's kind of like my town used to be. It's more rural and not as developed, and you can get more house for your money there because it's not as desirable an area. It's farther away from Knoxville. And we went and looked at a house. It was a nice house, very good price. Well, at least for today's market. But it was just too much. It's too much house. It was 4,100 square foot. And we don't need that much space. Hell, it's me and her and dog and 2 cats. Like, we don't need 4,100 square foot. But the property was great. The location was great. Internet sucked. A little bit of a problem with that for what I do with this YouTube crap. That's kind of a big deal that I have at least decent internet. Fiber internet's ideal. I just recently got that last year, and it made uploading these long videos so much easier. What used to take me 20 hours can be done in 20 minutes now. So I would have been sacrificing that for sure with this place's internet. But, I mean, just a very, very nice house. Had new roof, new HVAC units, new hot water heater. You know, the things that you're going to put some money into if you get a house, like the expensive stuff that has to be replaced. It was all done for. About the only thing I think this place would have needed would have probably been new windows. The house was built, I believe, if memory serves, I think it was 96. No, I'm sorry. My house was built in 96. This place was built in 99. So it was probably going to be needing some windows at some point in the near future. And there was a bunch of windows in this house. But the big thing, and again, it wasn't the price of the price of the house. I wasn't going to be paying much more by the time we sold my house. Even though my house that I live in now is significantly smaller, my house is in a more desirable area. And so houses in my area, even as small as mine is going for an ungodly amount. Like, I've got a lot of equity in my house versus what I've paid for it. And my house is paid for now, so I mean, that money would be free and clear when my house sells. But the thing that got me about this house in Rockwood, the size of it, I asked the realtor to find out. I was like, what are the utility bills at this place? Because you walk in and you've got the main level with these huge ceilings, vaulted ceilings. You got it upstairs, and then you've got a fully finished basement as well. So it's basically 3 stories, and you get right down to it, between the basement, the main level, and the second story there. And I'm like, I want to know the utility bill on this. Like, how much does it cost to heat and cool this place? And so you do the math on it. And once she found out, I'm like, well, hell far, man. I'm going to be quadrupling what I currently pay. And then, of course, property taxes, because this is a much bigger house and had more land with it and whatnot. Like, it was going to be triple property tax is what I currently pay. And I didn't go as far as to call my insurance agent, but I was just, 2 + 2 = Jello. If your utility bills is quadrupling and your property taxes are tripling, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, well, your homeowner's insurance is probably going to triple to quadruple as well, too. So it's just going to be a lot of extra expenses. And, I mean, money is freedom, folks. Like, the less money you spend to maintain your life, the less you have to work, or the less you have to work a job you don't want to do. Like, if you can do something else that you love doing that maybe pays a little less, like if you have the freedom to do that, that's awesome. But in order to be able to do that, you've got to have minimal expenses. And unfortunately, I think that's where a lot of people kind of get trapped, is they have a job that they don't really like, that they're not really interested in, they're not passionate about, but that job pays them enough money to maintain their current lifestyle, and they get stuck. They get trapped. Like, they can't take a pay cut to go do something else that they might enjoy more, or possibly maybe go back to school or learn a different skill or a different trade. Maybe they might have to cut back on their work hours for a few months, a couple years, whatever, while they learn this skill or go to school. They just can't do it. They get trapped. And I've been there before. And I'm fortunate to be in a situation I am now. Of course, now my bills are paid off, my house and student loans and all that. Like, I don't have all the expensive stuff in life is paid for. So it allows me an opportunity to do this. And I'm grateful for that. And I don't want to give that up by taking on a bunch of extra debt, even if it would mean a nicer house and more land and more privacy and less traffic. I don't want to give up that freedom. And I would be doing that to an extent if I take on all this extra expense. And then too, like, yes, the roof is new, the HVACs are new, hot water heater new. But when those things do go out, at some point in the future, I mean, assuming I live there the rest of my life and manage to live a long life, on that bigger house, those things are going to be more expensive than what I currently pay on my smaller house. I mean, there's a lot more surface area on that roof that's going to have to be replaced. This other house, it's got 2 HVAC units, whereas mine right now has 1. So it's just, you have to take all that into consideration. And for me, man, my freedom is everything to me. Like, I don't want to give that up. I want to make sure that I can keep doing what I'm doing here, and times get hard, still be able to do it. You just never know with this stuff here on the YouTube, man. Like February 4th, when they tweaked whatever they done in the algorithm, my views quit. Like, my views declined greatly just from a flip of a switch. Like, it can all be gone in an instant. You just never know. So the better, more frugal and economical you can have in a lifestyle, the better you can weather the storm in situations like that I just went through a couple months ago. I'm still going through, as I'm trying to navigate and figure out what it's going to take to get in front of people again on here. So anyway, we did look and loved the house. I mean, it was a very nice house, just bigger than what we needed. So we're still going to keep looking around, see what we can find. And if the right opportunity comes along, we may take it. The other possibility too is maybe at some point in the next few years, it's not going to happen this year, definitely not next year, but at some point, when my girlfriend and I don't really have responsibilities keeping us here in East Tennessee anymore, maybe we take off and go somewhere different. Maybe Florida, for instance, maybe somewhere else. I don't know. Right now, her and I both, I mean, we've got parents that are older, and fortunately for both of us, I mean, both of our sets of parents are both still alive, and at the moment, everybody's doing pretty well, minus a few health problems here and there, but I mean, it's terrible to talk about, but that kind of thing's not going to last forever. You know, good health only lasts so long, and when a time comes that we start having problems and need to be here, it would be nice to be living 20 minutes away versus 12 hours away. And like in my situation, I'm an only child, so I don't have any siblings to rely on for my parents if they needed something, and I really don't have any kinfolk left alive other than my parents, and I've got one aunt that's still alive, but she lives in Oklahoma, and my cousins, her kids, they're in Oklahoma, so they're a long ways away. All my family around here, though's dead. My mom was an only child too, so she didn't have any brothers or sisters, and both her parents are dead. And my dad, my grandparents, his parents, they've been dead a long time, and his brother and other sister, they've died. So when things go wrong, it's going to be on me, so I need to be here for that. And my girlfriend's situation is a little bit different. She has a sister, so she's got somebody to rely on. Plus, her parents have siblings, and so there's several people in the area that can help out, doctor's appointments and things like that. But at some point in the future, when unfortunately, I mean, death is just part of life, but at some point when we don't have responsibilities here anymore, and you kind of have to wonder too, like, when you have a loss of a close family member, and I'm fortunate, obviously, I still have both my parents, but when you lose someone close to you, you're going to change in some way. Like, it's going to affect you. Yes, you're going to grieve for a while, and that'll be rough, but even once the grieving subsides, you're still, I don't know that life's ever the same. I mean, I've known several people that have, I mean, I know a lot of people that's lost their parents, but I've known some people too that have lost children. And I think it just changes you. I mean, I'm not saying it changes you to the point that you can't function in life, but it's just, I don't know that you're ever the same after that. And so, and looking forward, like when the day comes I lose my parents and the day comes she loses her parents, it's like, will we feel the same way about this place? Will we like being here? Will we want to be around constant reminders of what we've lost? I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I hope I don't have to find out for a long time, but it's just, again, it's a possibility. At some point, we may end up just taking off and moving somewhere. I don't know. But right now, I mean, I like my house. I like my property. It's took me a long time to get it how I want it. The main thing I just don't like is my town, because it's gotten, we've took on all these people, but the infrastructure's not been improved. Our elected officials constantly get their palms greased in there. So zoning regulations change. If a developer buys a plot of land and wants to put on 1 million apartments, they go in front of that commission, kiss some ass, and get what they want. New subdivision, no problem. Everything gets approved. But what they ain't improving is infrastructure. The roads can't handle all the people. Sewer can't handle all the people. School systems allegedly can't handle all the people. We got to build a new one, raise property taxes. Electrical grid can't handle it. Last winter they were telling us to turn the thermostats down when it got real cold because the grid couldn't handle it. Well, how's the grid going to do when they add in 1,000 more apartments? And no changes have been made. So it's just, you know, stuff like that and all the extra traffic, and that's what makes me want to leave. It's not my house. It's not my property. I could use more space at my house, certainly. But the main driving force in us considering moving is just mainly the town, the traffic. It's just different. It's different than when I moved there. It's different than when I was growing up. Like, the small town feel's gone. It's like a big city in a small town. You got the problems of a big city, traffic, and getting some homeless people there now, and it's just different, man. We got some people coming up here, folks. I may have to shut up for a minute. You know, I don't like talking around people. We just discussed this, and here we got a couple coming in a boat. I don't know what they're doing, bass fishing, I guess. We've been a long time without a fish, too. Wonder if we shouldn't turn around, maybe. I kind of want to reel in this rod and see if we still got bait on it. Since it had gotten hit a couple times, I think we've been robbed. This one, our bluegill got ripped off there. Well, that explains why that one wasn't getting hit. Yep, that explains it. Y'all should have checked that rod 10 minutes ago. I blame y'all for that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do on this one. I'm just going to cut some slits in this thing. We're going to put him on hold. Let me just get him bleeding a little bit. Yeah, we'll put that thing on there whole, see what happens. Make it a little bit bigger bait. I'm going to go ahead and reel this one on the left too, just make sure he's still on there as well. I feel like we was just going too long without a bite after doing so well in this creek. Just suddenly just shut off. I think this bait's still on there. Let me just check it. Might as well just switch it out. We might put on one of them bluegill heads on this one. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put on one of them bluegill heads. Bluegill surprisingly done pretty well for us. This head ain't very big, but I cut a lot of that meat off to make the body section, but we'll roll with it. I want to cut them fins off too. All right. Okay. All right. 20 feet deep here. We still got a ways to go till we get back here to the shallows. I wish these people here would go on. They ain't doing nothing wrong, but it still bothers me. All right, let's flip the bail on that one. Let the more line out on the one on the left. I do want to go all the way back in this creek, though, to see what happens. Let's bump up our speed a little bit and get past these people. Let's go up to like 0.8. Okay, I think we're good on this. Yeah, we'll go about 0.8 till we get past them, then we'll slow back down. Looks like we're close to full moon up there too. I see it up in the sky. It's a nice area back here. This is real peaceful. So we'll get me a swig while I'm waiting. I'll just fast forward a minute. We'll get back to commentary momentarily. I think I sneezed and the wind's blowing this way. It's going to blow right into me. I've done pretty well today, all things considered. My allergies were really giving me hell last week. Now, I'm still snotting a little bit, but my eyes ain't watering as bad. I'm real curious to see if it's a depth thing, like will we continue to get fish back up in here as we get shallower, or is it an area thing where those fish were kind of just in that general area out there that we passed through? Could go either way. I guess we'll find out here in a few minutes. We're gonna go all the way to the back here, I think. We might as well. We've committed to it at this point. Let's just go the distance with it. Might as well see this through. I don't know how many people still left watching at this point. If you stuck with me, thanks. Can't be more than a handful of you, maybe 5 or 6. Way to be one of the elite. I appreciate you. All right, we're still way too close to them people, but I'm gonna slow us down again. It's back down about 0.5. Ain't no flow in this creek here, so we can go whatever speed we want and not have to worry about our lines getting pushed up to our sinkers like we was potentially going to deal with out in the main channel, but going downstream. They caught him one over there. Like, pretty good bass. Large jaw. I ain't caught no more stripers lately. Yeah, I went through that stretch there. I got 3 of them dragging in a short period of time. I got 2 of them on one trip and another one on a different trip, and they were pretty good sized fish too. They were nice stripers. It wasn't little ones. But I guess it was just a fluke thing. I mean, I certainly couldn't pattern a bite on the stripers dragging cut bait. I've done it before, not pattern them, but like I've caught stripers before on cut bait while dragging. If I get my words out, but I think it was probably just right place, right time. That kind of situation. I don't think it's something that a person could really get a pattern going with and go out and target them like that. But it was a fun time when I got them, though. I didn't get any stripers last year, I don't think. So I'm already up 300% based on last year's. I think, though, if I can't get that suspended bite going, and I don't know why I ain't done no good with it lately. In fact, even going back into last fall, I wasn't doing very good suspended. Like, I don't know why. It just hasn't been working out well. But if I can't get that going and we're forced to do this on into the spring and summer, then it's really going to negatively impact our flathead catches this year. There ain't no getting around that. I'm sure we might still catch some, but it ain't gonna be nearly as many as if we were just suspending all the time. It looks like we got to make a decision up here if we're going to go left or right. I think we're going to go right and see if we can work back to that. Well, it looks like an old submerged bridge right there. There's fish. I'll tell you something else I'm going to be doing too here at some point soon is I'm going to go after them carp again. In fact, I should probably already have done that. Especially on some of these windy days, I can go hide, but oh. There's a little tap there. I'm gonna get after them again here soon. I'm been looking forward to that. Been thinking about it some. Especially now, if our water stays up like this at summer pool, I'm sure they're gonna drop it back down. Normally we don't come up to full summer pool to about mid-May. So we're a month away from full pool, being able to expect full pool. So I'm sure they're going to drop it down here. But right now, all these creeks are full of water. And I wonder if some of them carp ain't started to move up in them. When I get to wondering about something, the only way to figure it out is just go do it. Holler at them geese. They're dead set on getting on this video. Mating season for them too, I guess. They're setting on nests and stuff. I've seen them on some islands setting on nests. We'll have even more of them loud things come next year. I don't know how long a goose has to set on a nest for. I know they make a lot of eggs, because when you see them swimming with their babies after they hatch and stuff, they've usually got a bunch of them swimming behind them. I was having a good day as far as carrying a conversation with myself, and I got sidetracked with these fellas behind me here, and now I've lost my mojo. I guess I'm just out of stuff to say, to be honest with you. I don't live a very fascinating life. I try to keep to myself. Talk to my girlfriend every day, talk to my mom every day, but beyond that, I try to keep to myself. Don't have a lot of human interaction. Don't do a lot of stuff. So my ability to conversate with myself out here for multiple hours, it'd be nice if y'all would pick up the slack, maybe talk back once in a while, but if I start hearing your voices, I'm going to assume I'm schizophrenic, so maybe it's best that you don't talk back. Nevertheless, I think we've about covered all the things going on in my life recently. There's probably some stuff I ain't thinking about because my mind's still thinking about mowing and everything, Dave. But we got it done. Got her yard done, my yard's done. The worst thing I hate about yard work's weed eating. Well, I don't like spraying weed killer either. But I'd rather do that once every 3 months or so than have to weed eat all the time. And I'd let it get to, oh. He's pulling, buddy. He's pulling. Was 14 feet deep. This one right here, he's fired up, man. I think my drag a little tight. It's like, as hard as he's pulling, he should have ripped some line off there. I think this is going to be a little better fish right here, folks. This is on the bluegill head. That small bluegill head. We've got another one there in my cooler we're going to put on next. I'm not a huge fan of bluegill, like I told you, but it will catch a fish. I've caught big fish on it before. Not as many on it as I have other baits, but it works. Well, I think we've got something. Oh, we were snagged on the other rod. It come free. Biggest one of the day. This one here, definitely too big for our slot tournament. He's wound up. Oh, he still left that head on too. Even better. Even better. We'll get that thing back. All right, biggest fish of the day, back here 14 feet of water. I ain't got my front camera mount set up either. That's all right. Hell, ain't none of you's watching at this point in the video anyway, but there he is, folks. My board here is 32 inches, so I promise you he exceeds that. We'll lay him across there anyway, just for a little bit of a reference there for you. Well, he don't exceed that either. He's just over 32 inches there. So, nice fish. That's a quality fish right there, fun sizer. Front camera worthy most days, but we ain't put the front camera mount up yet, and this late in the trip, the sun's starting to go down over there. I ain't busting it out unless it's a big fish, really big fish. Let's take a look at this head. I think what we're going to do, we're going to keep this head. We're going to catch another fish right there. Before we reel that one in, let me grab this other head and get this line going out, because we're on some fish. We're on them right here, man. Get that other head. Oh, come on now. Where's it at? Where's it at? What'd y'all do with that head? Did I throw it away? Hell far. I don't know what yous have done with it. All right, let's just stick one of these shad on here for the time being. I don't know where that dang head went. Oh, crap. Oh, is that fish gone? No, he's still on there. 15 feet. We've gone through some fish right here. Oh, he's gone now. Crapola, man. Got our bait too. I botched that. I should have went ahead and reeled him in. I was trying to get another bait on there and get it going and trying to work efficiently, you know, and there's that other head. We couldn't find this head. It was playing hide and seek down there. Instead of y'all helping me out, reeling in a fish or baiting a hook, y'all hid this bluegill head from me. And it caused me to lose the fish while I was trying to find it. All right, I'll send it back. Y'all hear my belly growling? I'm hungry. I should be eating right now. If we had got out here on time when I wanted to today, I'd already be home and eating. I think it's going to be a steak kind of night. All right. That's a nice looking cabin over there. I like that. All right, folks. That's a nice series of events right there. Got our biggest fish of the day. Had another bite that you all managed to lose. Both these lines going back out. We'll flip them over here in a second. Let's work our way on back here. We know there's some fish in here, man. We'll just keep going up here and try to work all the way back here. Go back a few feet deep if we can pull through it. I'm sure it'll get more snags and stuff as we get shallower water. Okay, I'm pulling again. That fish is probably pissed off. He didn't get any front camera time. Normally I would for a fun sizer like that. But I put that camera mount in that front hatch, so we'll have to get up there and dig it out. Forgot to do that earlier in my rush to get out here. I used to leave that mount and cutting board and everything just in the kayak. The only thing I would take out was my rods. Well, when I got that new trailer and started towing it behind the truck, I guess the aerodynamics is different than my old trailer pulling behind my car, because the wind was blowing everything out of the kayak. So I can't leave anything in the floor now. It's got to be either in that hatch or in the box on my trailer. I still ain't gotten used to that yet, so I ain't I ain't remembering to set everything up when we get out here, especially when I'm in a rush like I was today. But we've made the most of it. We got out here a little bit late, but we've ended up now. Hell, we've caught several fish. We got two more fish toward our slot limit tournament. This got us a nice one there. So it's turned into a productive afternoon. We just stayed with it. We made a decision to come up in this creek versus continuing on the flat, and it paid off. It's possible we may have got more fish had we stayed the course, or maybe got bigger fish. I don't know. But I'm not displeased with the results we've gotten working up in here. It's worked out for us. I get on the water, I want to catch fish, man. That's the goal. That's what you want to do. We've done it today. We still got bait in there too. Tomorrow, they're calling for rain tomorrow. So I don't know if I get to go at all, but if there's a break in it, maybe we can get out there somewhere and try it. We're about to try to get a snag, I think. It's pulling through something. All right, we got through it so far. I like that cabin up there, man. Look at all them windows and stuff. You have a beautiful view back here in a peaceful area. They could sit there on their dock and throw out and catch them a catfish and probably whatever else they wanted to as well. I guarantee you that'd be out of my budget right there. It ain't a very big cabin. But the fact it's on the water, man, you probably at least 800,000, at least. Minimum. I mean, it may not be for them if they already own the land or something, but like if you was buying that lot and that size house, a new house, you're easily 800,000, a million or more probably. Just with this day and time where we're at now with everybody moving here and all. But with that said, if you go to some of the outlying areas, that's not as desirable, that's farther away from Knoxville and Chattanooga and the bigger cities in my area. If you find some of them outlying places, it's not getting bombarded with people yet, you can find get more house for your money in those places. Get more land for your money there. I wish people would quit moving here, though. They taking over the state, man. People grew up here, can't afford to live here no more. They priced out. I mean, even my house, granted my house was a foreclosure, so I got a deal on it, although it did have to be fixed up. I mean, my place was a dump when I got it. But still, I mean, it's quadrupled in value since 2006 when I bought it, so just 19 years. It's quadrupled in value, and most of that value has been added in the last 5 years as housing prices have just skyrocketed around here. It's crazy. What's coming behind us? Thought I heard a boat coming. Maybe it's a car on the road or something. What time is it here, y'all? It's 6:56. I think I'm going to wrap it up here soon. We're going to get to the back of this, and I'm probably going to call it quits because by the time I'm a pretty good ways from the car. So by the time we fish our way back here, I'm not going to have time to turn around and go back out of this creek. I'm be probably pushing it to get back to the car before dark, I'd say. Just because we're so far away at this point. We'll see what else happens between here and there, though. 13 feet deep. I want to at least get back to 7 or 8 feet deep. think we're gonna, looks like a little piece of land comes out here. I think we're gonna go to the left. Go back in that pocket. The throat's getting dry now. I think we've ate probably 4 pounds of pollen out here today. All these trees got green, that warm weather we had, and everything started blooming. I planted some peas in my garden, but I held off on planting everything else because I knew it was going to turn cold again, and I'm glad I waited. We're supposed to have some more days in the 30s next week too, from looking at the forecast. Lows anyway, not highs, but lows in the 30s. So they always say around my area it's best to wait until after Easter to plant anything. That's what the old people used to say before they got so old that they turned senile and started doing stinky armpit deodorant motions when I'm trying to trying to spray weed killer along the road. How weird though. Like, what could that guy have meant? And why am I still trying to figure out what he meant when he probably didn't even know what he meant by it? Yeah, people are just weird. It's beautiful back here, man. Look at that house over there on the left. I mean, they got a really nice place. They got a nice yard, some wooded area there. They're right on the water. Look, I mean, that is a beautiful area. It's quiet back here, other than me running my mouth. This is a really nice area. I could definitely live back. I couldn't afford to live back here, but I could definitely get used to living back here. I just keep wondering if some fish want to live back here. I feel like we were seeing more. In fact, I'm not really seeing anything back here as far as bait goes, flipping, like shad flipping. We were seeing more kind of, well, really where we was getting all the fish at. When you think about it, where we were getting all them bites, that's where the bait was at. Now, granted, we did get our biggest fish on back up in here, but I'm not seeing anything flipping along the shoreline or back in this pocket. And look here too, our water temps started to drop a little bit the farther we've got back here. But when I got these shad, I was at the very back. I had to go to the very back of a creek to get them, and the water temps was a little bit cooler back there than what it was farther out too, but that's where the gizzards were at. You just never know, man. You never know where fish are going to be. Wherever they're at, they're there for a reason, but me trying to figure out what a fish is thinking and why it's doing what it's doing. It's like me trying to figure out one of them senile old people. It's like it's just apples and oranges, man. You don't know why fish do what they do. Don't know why people do what they do. All you can know is why you do what you do. Hell, I don't know why I do what I do most days. I was getting by it over there, but I think it just pulled through a snag. On a positive note, I'm fearful I'm going to jinx it, but we ain't had to go back and get nothing today. We've been able to pull all this time and ain't had to turn around. I can finally lose the sunglasses. Yeah, folks, I'm out of stuff to say. I'm out of conversation topics. Here's what I think I'm gonna do, folks. I think I'm going to, well, I'm gonna fish till I get back here. I wanna at least work our way back to, as far as we can back in here. We're coming up pretty quick now, 9 feet, but it looks like I need to veer a little bit to the right. That'll put us more back in the channel there. I've gotten off course just a little bit, but can't find, oh, there it is. Can't find my remote. But yeah, anyway, y'all, I think what I'm gonna do is, y'all are probably bored out of your mind if you're still even left watching. I'm gonna fish my way back here, and then I'm gonna call it quits on the day. So I think I'm gonna go ahead, we'll turn the video off now. I'll leave the camera on. If I get bit between here and there, I'll turn it back on. We'll have a bonus fish to close out the video. That'd be awesome. But if not, we'll just call this the end of the video and go home happy tonight, man. I feel like it's been a productive day. We've got several fish, improved our tournament score. Both of those are wins in the win column, man. So I'll take it. But hopefully, I guess next trip out, we'll do some more dragging. It's working. It's producing fish, whereas my favorite way to fish isn't right now, for whatever reason. So we'll see what happens with the rain next couple days. If I can get on the water, great. If not, we'll get back out there again eventually, by gosh. So anyhow, y'all, I just took my sunglasses off and there's the sun again, peeking through the trees. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this video. If we get a bonus fish, great. If not, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for coming with me today.